Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha here, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Johnny boy, I'm good, baby. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hitting 6 days without the Lady Outlaw. Tomorrow she's back finally, so it's been a weird kind of 6 days.
Let me see how hairy that palm is, baby.
Not at my age, man. But certainly there's some dishes to clean up. There's some beds to be made for sure. But having some fun hanging out here with you, man. We're back at it. Lots to talk about. A lot going on. But before we jump into any of the subject, we'll talk about the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni thing. We'll talk about the Nick Cage story here that just popped a few minutes ago. We're going to talk about some Joaquin Phoenix drama, get in some trailers, give our review of Alien Romulus, assuming Jeff has seen it. Well, I don't know if he has or not.
Just seen it. I just hit the button on today's newsletter with a review of Alien Romulus.
There you go. You get it in both places. What is this Instagram story you posted yesterday with you in a banana outfit? I need details. What happened here? What's this all about? For those of the people who follow him on Twitter and on Instagram, what is the story here? Or TikTok?
Well, what do you think it was?
Were you going to actually The Price is Right, or were you going someplace else?
It was Let's Make a Deal.
Let's Make a Deal. That's it. Sorry. Let's
yes,
Make a Deal.
I was a contestant on Let's Make a Deal. I can't tell you whether I was on the show, whether I won money or got zonked or was even picked or anything like that. But tune in January.
I love it. Let's make a deal. All right. Well, let's get into things. And before we do, just want to remind you all to please send in your Streamlabs and SuperChats as we go along through the show. You know how things go here.
Money. That's what I want.
It's what we need. Send in your questions, thoughts, and comments as we go along. But Jeff, we're going to jump into the first story. And I just want to lead with this one because it dropped just about like an hour before we started the show. This is happening. Nick Cage will be playing John Madden for writer-director David O. Russell. He has set Nicolas Cage to star in Madden. This is the Amazon MGM Studios drama about the unlikely path that took John Madden from Super Bowl winning coach for the Oakland Raiders to head to the brains and brand behind Madden NFL and, of course, to eventually a broadcasting career. This is such an unusual choice. This is going to chronicle how he became the face of Madden. The new one's about to come out in about a month. Jeff, your thoughts on this situation? Nick Cage is not someone I would have thought of for this role.
Definitely a surprise, but you know what? Yeah. Longlegs was such a hit, right? Yeah, just such a hit domestically. You can now finance this movie with Nick Cage. You can now that's all that it's about. Right? Like Longlegs has now made him the kind of star where you can hang a commercial movie on with a wide theatrical release. So I bet that Hugh Jackman, because Hugh Jackman was kind of like wavering in and out for months and months and months.
Yeah.
He, I can't imagine what his quote went to after Deadpool and Wolverine, right? He was probably just like a little too expensive for this kind of thing. I think Cage is kind of perfect.
It's a fascinating decision, because we're kind of in a, third or fourth iteration of a Cage-assance now with what happened over the last couple of years, as you mentioned, Longlegs, but also the one with Pedro Pascal. Was it The Unbearable Lightness of Being or whatever it was called? And then you've got the one that was just on earlier where he played the teacher whoever was having visions about or dreams about. And, of course, Pig 3 years ago. Certainly kind of getting back into our eyesight, and then Longlegs becoming a hit. It's an excellent point you bring up that's maybe the reason why they were able to comfortably go with this. Here's the crazy part of this. As I sat with it more and more before the show started, I thought to myself, if he delivers an incredible performance, and David O. Russell certainly directs these really character-driven pieces, could we see an Oscar nomination for Nicolas Cage as John Madden of all people? Is it possible, Jeff?
I don't know. It's about the Madden video game, so I don't know what kind of drama, is like entailed in that story, or if it's going to be more of like a lighter, like played for a little bit of laughs kind of thing.
Right.
Right. I get the sense that it's going to be more of the Dumb Money thing. Now, Dumb Money, some people thought could have been an Oscar contender. If it was good, maybe it would have been. I didn't think it was very good. But that had like a comedic bend to it. And I think that's kind of what this will have, but I don't know that for sure.
But I mean, you look at David O. Russell's resume, right? I mean, he doesn't really lean towards. I mean, I Heart Huckabees was like the clearest thing he did to a comedy, and that was terrible. So, I mean, American Hustle, that's a pretty significant film. Three Kings, Silver Linings Playbook.
I mean, this is his sweet spot, I think. Like these kind of like nervy comedies, right? They're not Apatow comedies where it's dick and fart jokes kind of thing,
right?
But like comedies for quote unquote adults, and that's who I imagine would turn out to this. The people who have been playing Madden for years and years, and for whom the Madden brand really means something, right?
Yeah, I mean, Amsterdam did not do well, but Joy was kind of quietly well received for the people who did see it.
I liked it. Did you?
Yeah, I thought Joy was good, and I thought, unfortunately, that Jennifer Lawrence just got caught in that grind where people were sick of her, but she delivered a hell of a performance. De Niro was good in that film as well. Then you got American Hustle, which was good. Silver Linings, good. I just recently watched some of The Fighter the other day. I hadn't seen it in forever. Really enjoyed that. Three Kings. Flirting with Disaster is one of those great kind of 90s independent films I thought was fantastic. And, of course, Spanking the Monkey, which is the one that got him on the map. So there are a lot of hits in David Russell's resume. Now, on-set behavior.
You're a big fan. What's your favorite? You're a big fan of Spanking the Monkey, right, John?
Again, a second reference there. Shout out to my friend here, Jeff.
Especially these last 6 days. It's all right. I'm single. I feel your pain now.
Please. Who has time for that? But is this kind of thing?
Who has time for that? You got to make time, brother.
I got all this stuff to watch. I got no time. But to me, I just like the idea, and I'm gonna put it, and maybe I'll save this little clip, but I just have a feeling that this could shock a lot of people, and he could get an Oscar nom. Because if this is exploring the fact that Madden was burnt out on coaching, didn't know what he was gonna do next, these young punks come along and pitch him this idea. He resists it at first. Then eventually, slowly but surely, he starts to be reborn because his knowledge of football now is in a whole nother medium and in a whole nother realm, and he becomes inspired again, which leads him to be one of the great broadcasters. There's an arc that you can put here if David O. Russell wants to do it that way.
But I don't think it is that, right? Like, or I mean, there's not going to be like a young man Madden, right? So he's already established at this point.
No. When he came on to the Madden brand, he'd been established as a coach and as a Super Bowl winning coach, but he kind of burnt out. And so it was like right at the
You're saying that the video game kind of made him the commentator. Kind of
woke him back up, kind of got him into our zeitgeist. So
I'm just curious what the drama is here. Like, again, I don't know it as I'm not familiar with Madden's story, so I don't know like the behind the scenes of the making of the Madden game and what it took, and like if they were like, John Madden, why are we going to put his name on a game?
They came to him. They came to him. EA. It wasn't the other way around. Like,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And they pitched him on. He didn't want to do it because he'd never played a video game in his life. He had no idea what this was all about and what was going on here. But they pitched it to him, and he, from the interviews, and of course it's all PR stuff, but from the interviews he said, like, I didn't know what this was. I didn't understand what was going on, but I was able to inform them on all my football knowledge. And it was another way to kind of do this. Essentially, I was coaching a new generation of people about the game I love without actually coaching them on the field. And so that's kind of what inspired him to be a part of it. And he really was involved. It wasn't like he just came in and just, did the lines. He really was involved in the creation of the game. So I think it could be fascinating to see which way they go with that. You might be right. Dumb Money might be the way it goes, but The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook.
Johnny, why don't you find me one of these interesting sports stories that you know so much about? We'll write a script together.
I love this idea. Let's
do it, bro.
By the way, I got an idea for you. We've been talking about doing a second show all the time, right? What about
this is the nude show we were discussing, or
what about the rewatch alongables? What if we steal their idea, but we're watching along a movie like you did with Heat? but we call it the rewatch-alongables. I think this is a good idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
I like it too. I'm down to just. I mean, whatever the Ringer does seems to work. So I'm down. You gotta steal from the best.
Yeah, let them come after us, please. All right, so we'll see what happens.
Please, you know who I am? I'm the fucking Insider. Please, it's Outlaw Nation, bitch.
So this will be fascinating to see what it turns out to be. But in David Russell's hands, anything is possible. Just don't get into any fights with anybody on set, David. Don't get into any
literally fights. Anything is possible with David O. Russell's hands. Who knows where they're gonna go?
Nicolas Cage will kick your ass.
Family members.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, well, let's move on to the big story. And I see you all dropping in your super chats in your Streamlabs. Keep them coming. We will definitely be answering them later on in the show. Send in your love here on this Thursday. Jeff, this is the big story. Everyone is talking about it. We're right on the heels of It Ends With Us doing $80 million worldwide. Nobody predicted that. It's opening weekend. It just beat Daredevil and Wolverine again yesterday at the box office, but the drama between these two, director/star Justin Baldoni and executive producer/star Blake Lively, has really heated up over the last few days. Social media, TikTok sleuths have been putting out all this kind of information. Vox wrote an article about it. Collider wrote an article about it. Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Page 6, everyone, Daily Mail, everyone is writing about the drama here. When last we left the drama last week, Jeff, we informed our viewers and our listeners about what was going on here, and there were 2 cuts and the drama behind the scenes. But since then, Justin Baldoni has hired a PR manager. The Sony head of Sony CEO has come out and said that Blake Lively was great and that she did all this wonderful things and that she's really shining a light on domestic violence. When the massive backlash from a lot of women on social media and what have you was she wasn't talking about domestic violence at all in any of the press junkets. And now we have TMZ reporting that the reason there was drama between them is supposedly Blake Lively felt fat shamed because Justin Baldoni, trying to protect her, talked to an on-set medical professional about a stunt they were going to do because he has back problems and was worried that he might hurt her or drop her and didn't want to do that. And she supposedly, through sources, claimed that he lingered too long on a kiss in a scene, this happily married man and father of 2, and that caused her to be uncomfortable. So he's still following all the actors. All the actors have unfollowed him, including Jenny Slate, who gave a ridiculous response to it in a question last week. So what do you think is happening now? What is the end result of all of this? Where does this lead to? Justin's already ceded control of the next 2 films to Blake. What's your thoughts on it?
No,
well, he said she should direct them. He said to Us Weekly, she should direct them.
So what? She should is not, she is.
Hmm?
She wants to.
Fair point.
And she probably will, but she should is like, okay, Blake, you should. Do you want to direct them? Here they are. I have the rights. I control the rights. He controls the rights. It's not Sony.
Right.
He controls that next book. So if you want a sequel to your big fat hit, Blake Lively, and you want to direct it or call the shots or whatever, be my guest. But it ain't going to come cheap because I had the foresight to know that this book and this author was going to be huge.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that is how it shakes out, where her and Ryan Reynolds, who, by the way, these are not just 2 actors who live off of actor salaries. They have hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Yeah, thanks to the gin and Mint Mobile. Yeah. So they are in a different stratosphere, and if they want to buy a book from Justin Baldoni and he wants to charge them 2 or 3 times what he paid for that book, or I'm just saying they have the money to buy him out.
Absolutely,
and they probably will. And that's I think what he was getting at.
Well,
now,
I mean, go ahead. Continue. No, I was just going to say, Colleen Hoover has clearly sided with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. She's unfollowed Justin Baldoni. Then she shut down her TikTok because of all the negativity surrounding. Look, Jeff, this has been a massive backlash against Blake Lively. And then one of these reporters from one of the Danish countries there posted her back and forth with her over the Cafe Society junket from 2016. just to highlight how Blake
that woman is come on, Kirsty Floss. She's been involved in a couple of things.
Oh, has she? Okay.
And
I
always.
don't know. I'm just saying, posting it didn't look good for Blake, that back and forth. And then people posting some more interviews with her with the cast where they don't even mention.
Well, you don't point out someone's baby bump though, like as a reporter. Like I guess because she hadn't gone public with it, I don't think at that point. So clearly she was offended that she was like doing the pregnancy reveal via an interview. I don't know. Like
I thought women are supposed to support women. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. I could see why Blake you could see her like just shut down, stop looking at the interviewer.
He wasn't happy
and everything. But I think that question riled her. And, I don't think that means that Blake Lively's an asshole. There are other things that we've heard about Blake Lively. Now, the thing which we're not going to discuss, Jump, the thing that I told you about off the record.
Yes.
After last week's show.
Yeah,
I would say those other things that we heard, right, that you just talked about, are in line with the motivation or whatever, of that off the record item, which was like, And what I mean by that is like, I think that they're trying to paint Justin Baldoni in a certain light, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he lingered the kiss a little long, and he fat shamed, and I just I think that is an easy I can't say what the thing was.
No, I'm saying okay. Right.
I think that women, not necessarily here, but in general, women can weaponize the Me Too movement and they don't even have to make certain allegations or accusations. There just has to be a threat of that behind the scenes and things dribbling out in strategic publications like TMZ.
Right.
Where it makes a man maybe be like, you know what? I got to just fucking get out of this whole situation. Yeah. I don't need anything. Yeah, like I didn't do anything, but it's also not worth igniting a war with like two very PR savvy people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, buy me out, walk away, take the sequel. You should direct. Go ahead. Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen here. But that's what I'm getting at, is that there were these threats of not that he did something wrong, but we can make it sound like you did something wrong.
Yeah. The chat is saying that she had said she was pregnant 2 months before she had announced it.
Oh, okay. Forgive me.
So no, I mean, we didn't.
Because I had read today when I saw that video circulating that, she hadn't said anything publicly yet at that point, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah. But I think this is very clearly Blake had a different idea of what the film she wanted to do. And the film was much more about empowerment. She's caught up in this surface level. How can I say this? Not all white women, but certain.
She's
white
selling
women.
A movie, dude. No one wants to go see the domestic violence movie if that's how you market it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. What's the truth? She marketed a fake film, and now people are coming out. I mean, female moviegoers are coming out, Jeff, from this film and saying how they've been re-traumatized because they feel blindsided by the fact that they were not told this was a domestic violence movie. And when it went in that direction, they were fucked up because they thought it was a rom-com and they thought it was a meet cute type of thing. And so you've got to take responsibility for that.
I don't know if this movie got a cinema score. I don't remember reading anything about it, but if that was the case, the cinema score would be an F, right? If the audience, if you're selling one thing and the audience, goes in expecting one thing, comes out with another, then that's how you get an F cinema score. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't recall any headlines like that. I'm sure that, there are women who felt re-traumatized or whatever by this movie. I think it's kind of on the consumer to also do the research and know what kind of movie you're going into, regardless of, what the trailer looked like.
But a lot of people don't watch trailers, bro. They're not like us in the bubble. A lot of people don't watch trailers.
Well, then should they just walked into the theater blind because it had Blake Lively in it? I mean, then that's on them,
Yeah, I guess maybe. I think it was on her to make it clear what kind of film this was. I hear what you're saying. The marketing. Clearly,
if you make that clear, then it's not going to open at $50 million. It's just not.
I guess, but that's the problem, right? And I think that's what I was getting at. Justin Baldoni wanted to direct a film exploring the minutia and the complexity of a domestic violence relationship.
And it does.
Yeah. And then, yes, it does. You're right. And then you have Blake Lively, who wanted to pitch it in a different way, right?
She's just selling a movie. That's what movie stars do.
Selling the movie. But that's where people feel is the disconnect. And
you hide the troubling elements, whether you're Ridley Scott and you take Kevin Spacey out of the movie, or you're Blake Lively and you try not to mention domestic violence in interviews. It's really... It's not that it's right. I'm just telling you from the point, like, this is This is how fucking Hollywood thinks. And like,
right.
The last month has almost like changed how I think about Hollywood. Like, it is even more cutthroat than I think I thought years ago.
Nowadays, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I got to say this, I might get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say this, but it feels like there's this element of a white liberal cabal in Hollywood where like certain white people get together and have their like circle jerk around a film. And that's what seems like what happened here. Justin Baldoni, who's clearly an artist, felt like this is the kind of movie I want to tell. And there were pictures that have come out. There have been like videos that have come out where you see them fighting on the set. I'm sure when Blake chimed in, because Blake does not come off as that intelligent of a person in these interviews. All the surface level feminism shit she's spouting that has no depth or complexity. And I'm sure he was like, you want to do what now? No, that's not the film we're making. Like, what are you talking about? This isn't a fucking CW show. This is a fucking film that we're exploring something really deep. And I think that's where they came at Loggerheads. She came at it from a much more simplistic point of view. He came at it wanting to really explore the complexities of it. I mean, he was involved with numerous domestic violence organizations to try to get the story right. Like, that was really important to him to explore that.
There's
Clearly,
no question that there were creative differences and that these were two, strong personalities, right? He's not a director for hire.
Right. And they should have known.
Controls the rights to the book. It's his project.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
But we're seeing this. Like, she's apparently, it's like a lot of people. I heard from a couple of people. I can't say names, right? But from a couple of people that like some people are afraid to speak out on this because she's best friends with Taylor Swift, and people don't want her like igniting the Taylor Swifties to come after them. Other people, like her coming out saying how she fought for a Lana Del Rey song and claimed that it was heavy, a Lana Del Rey song, and to put into a movie. I mean, it's just this kind of this rich white girl mentality. And they were married on a plantation. It just all looks kind of like this section of, and it feels like a cabal. I don't mean like they're, sacrificing babies. I just mean this, like, it feels like they kind of insulate themselves on this rich approach to the world. And they will demolish anyone who tries to come after him. And Justin Baldoni clearly is in their paths of what they want, which, mommy wants this. Daddy's going to go get it for her. That's what it feels like to me, dude.
Well, at the last cabal meeting, Blake Lively and I, we sat next to each other.
You would not be in the cabal. Let me tell you that right now. They would not let you into the cabal. Let's tell
Blake Lively was supposed to bring the orange slices to the last cabal meeting, and she fucking forgot.
First of all, she wouldn't bring them. Her assistant would. Yes, Jay West, they were married on a plantation. They claimed not to know. These two people who research everything they do claimed not to know.
That video of them arguing outside the coffee shop, it's like, that's what it looks like anytime a director has a fucking conversation with their lead.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, it's a big fight. I think that everything's getting blown out of proportion. Again, she has not leveled a single allegation against him. Nothing has been said about this man.
She hasn't said it, no, but I mean, where do you think they're getting these details?
The actions speak louder than words. Oh, they're not being photographed together. Oh, they're not following each other on Instagram. That's where all this is coming from. Who said that he did anything wrong? And then when you hire the crisis PR person, which is you announcing to the world, I'm in a crisis.
Yeah, Melissa Nathan, who runs the agency group, she's worked with Drake, Johnny Depp, Logan Paul. I'm sure she's worked with other people who are not troublesome, but these are the three they thought to mention in the article. But there are sources, Jeff, that are coming out and saying this stuff all in defense of her. You can't tell me, the fucking business. You can't tell me that her publicists aren't like sliding little things to favorable writers so they put it in their columns to try to turn the narrative around, because she's getting destroyed on social media.
This is destroyed. John, what is the theme of this show? The recurring theme. What does it all come down to?
That we tell the truth.
No, but in this town, forget truth, because they obviously don't. Truth is a foreign concept to these people. What do these people care about in this town?
Money.
Mm-hmm. Who has the more earning potential? Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni? Who is going to make more people more money over the next 10 years?
Are you talking Blake Lively without Ryan Reynolds? Because I would argue it's a tie.
I think that's insane. It's definitely Blake Lively.
brother. Let me show you the box office. The last 10 films Blake Lively was a lead in. Let's have a conversation. I mean, come on. The only reason this movie made money is because her and Ryan got together and decided to pitch it in a certain way to like really obscure the domestic violence stuff because she wanted to have a hit and she wanted to continue being a part of the project. And they did that. I mean, Ryan coming in doing that stupid thing with Brendan Sklar, whatever his name is, where they're like being funny about everything. It's like, it's a movie about domestic violence. Like, what the fuck?
That's not a fun press tour.
Then don't do the movie. Then don't do the fucking movie.
You do the movie to tell the story, okay? That's you do the press tour to sell what the movie is. If you want people to see the powerful story about domestic violence, then you can't sell the powerful story of domestic violence. You have to sell some other thing to get them in the door.
We've seen plenty of hard movies. I mean, Schindler's List made money, Jeff. It's not an issue to do hard subject matter in a fucking movie if you've got a good movie. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? It sounds like you're mad at Sony's marketing team. That's what it sounds like.
Please. Please. It wasn't Sony's marketing team who came up with this. Get out of here.
They wish they'd come up with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking kidding me?
They'd all be getting raises right now. That's for sure. Chandler Edwards says the book is fucking huge, John. Do you want me to show you how many books that are huge?
I agree, John. I'm with him. I saw that comment too, and I was like, I think you're wrong. I think if you took Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds away from this and you stuck Daisy Edgar Jones in it again, just like she was in Crawdads last summer, maybe it doesn't open to 50, but it opens to 35, 40. It's the book. It's the Colleen Hoover. It's that kind of thing. It's not fucking Blake Lively.
It's not the sense. Exactly.
But when I'm saying she has way more earning potential than Baldoni, I think that's just true.
I think I disagree with you completely. There's not a film that she hasn't done a leading film that has made a lot of money.
What is Baldoni's earning potential if he's not going to do the sequel to this giant hit and all the actors don't want to work with him and he's in crisis PR? What is his earning potential?
Well, that's what I think is why he's using a crisis PR person, because he wants to be able to earn money down the road, you know? And this guy is, I mean, he's as how can I say this correctly? Like, he came out of Jane the Virgin, a CW show, just like she came out of Gossip Girl, a CW show. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it on the table there. It's about
one is a celebrity and one is just a fucking Hollywood filmmaker. And that's,
no, you're right.
Again, I'm on Team Baldoni here. I don't think that he did anything wrong. And I think the insinuations that he did do something wrong are coming from Blake's camp. And it's like, well, if he did, then say something. Don't just fucking insinuate it via, third-party sources in the media.
I agree.
I
agree. Yeah,
I think that they're doing him dirty.
Yes.
I think this is all a fucking campaign. And it's just like she has the more powerful team.
Yeah. That's the 100% the truth. Wow, the rhythm section, which was the last thing she led 4 years ago.
Yeah, bombed.
Totally bombed. A Simple Favor, which is considered one of the best films Paul Feig has ever done, was okay.
That's getting a sequel.
Enough to get a sequel because it was made for $3 million. The Shallows, I thought The Shallows was
good. Shallows is another hit.
I like The Shallows. I don't know about a hit. Was it a hit?
Yeah.
It was a hit. Hold on, Jeff.
Yes.
Hold on, Jeff. I did like the movie, by the way. I thought Shallows was good, so I'll give her props on that.
She is certainly
oh, you're right. $119 million.
Yeah, she is certainly a draw in the right vehicle.
But again, that was like 2016. It was 8 years ago, But yeah, that movie was made for 17, made 119. All right, so maybe slightly she has the edge on Baldoni. I have to give you that. But you can't separate her from Ryan, so that's what really... And I think she triggered the Ryan thing to bring him in so that they could market it a certain way. And look, you can't argue the results. You can argue whether they were authentic or not, but you can't argue the results, as Jeff said. Like, it's going to cross $100 million by the weekend and more as this drama keeps going. And I think that's the reason she hasn't said anything, because if the drama stays afloat, people are still going to want to come see this movie and find out what's going on, right?
Right, but in the meantime, he's left to twist in the wind, and everyone is left to wonder if he did something wrong. And I'm telling you, obviously can't get into what I told John off the record and what I'd heard off the record, but I was told that he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And I've heard that too from
that he was
a couple of people.
Whatever he was thought to have done or interpreted to have done, it sounded like they were going to make a mountain. They were prepared to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, the fat shaming thing is ridiculous because, and look, I'm not trying to discount a woman's feelings about that. It's her own personal journey, but like he was asking so he didn't hurt her. He was coming from a place of like, I don't want to hurt my lead actress. Like I'm trying to be a responsible person here. As an actor who's been on set with stunts, like that's the responsible thing to do.
Oh, so I'm fat? Oh, so I'm fat?
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I just think she had a perception, he had a perception, and they slammed together the last half of the movie, and that's why we get that stuff. So, but Jenny gets caught in the middle. We'll see what Jenny Slate does if she gets caught in the middle of all this. We shall see. Anyway, let's take a quick break, Jeff, because I'm sure that we're not done with this story for a while. So we'll see what it pops up in as the weeks go on. But we'll take a break. We'll jump into some other dramatic stories like Joaquin Phoenix, some of these trailers, and get to our review right after this. All right, some of you, I wonder about some of you. Murder Atlas, well, technically, Blake Lively has just been in a $1 billion movie. No, like it's just so dumb. No, you didn't even see her face. So
she was in it, and so she gets all the credit.
Exactly. It's like when they try to tell me when they try to throw in Ocean's 11 movies to say a certain person makes a lot of money. It's like they were 7th on the call list.
Right.
Anyway, all right, let's get into this situation here, Jeff. This is a big thing that popped up as well. Another drama over the last few days. Joaquin Phoenix has exited Todd Haynes' planned romantic drama feature. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the project is no longer moving forward, Jeff. You know this, after the actor dropped out just 5 days before filming was set to begin in Guadalajara, Mexico. The role will not be recast because they don't have enough time to put this thing together and to keep everybody employed. And this is a film that Joaquin Phoenix brought to Todd Haynes. That's the insane part of this. It was set to focus on an intense gay romance in the 1930s with Joaquin and Danny Ramirez from Top Gun Maverick and Captain America Brave New World. There's been a lot of backlash on this, Jeff. I see some people saying that there are producers quietly talking about blackballing Joaquin or directors not wanting to work with him. And that it might affect the Joker box office, Joker 2 box office, or his attending festivals.
This is so hilarious. This is so fucking hilarious from these alarmist fucks.
Talk to me, Jeff. What are your thoughts on all this?
It's going to affect the Joker box office. There was a kid, he was about to go out, and then he heard that Joaquin Phoenix had left the crew high and dry because he wasn't going to do the gay detective movie that Todd Haynes was going to direct, and we were going to see 3 years from now, and that kid's not going to Joker 2 anymore. He's out.
He's out.
You fucking kidding me, guys? Who are the people spreading this garbage? This is so, okay, it's not a cool move by Joaquin. I would not condone this, but
this is bad.
It's not bad. Who gives a fuck? It's a who gives a fuck.
Jeff, if I book you, you son of, I'll tell you this right now. If you came to me with a project and I got all the funding together, got the crew together, and 5 days before we're about to shoot the show, you pull out, I will come to your house with a baseball bat.
Everyone's going to get their money. But what happens if everybody gets,
what happens? Not getting paid right now. If they settle on something, then the crew will get paid. But that's going to be, what, a year down the road?
Is that what you think? It's going to take a year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you'll fight this.
I think it's going to be settled by the time Joker 2 opens, my friend.
Oh, well.
Okay.
You know what? That's actually, I didn't think about that.
You're right. I think it's going to be settled in the next 2 weeks before it fucking debuts in Venice. And I think that the gigantic mega fucking payday that Joaquin has been getting for these two movies is going to cover this. And he's not even going to notice the movies. The money's gone from his bank account. Not even going to notice.
It's going to be like, what's that picture? Shea Otani.
I don't know whether this movie cost $3 million or whether it cost $7 million, but I know it didn't cost $20 million. So he should be fine.
Fair point.
He'll be fine. He's going to come in, write a check, say, I'm real sorry, Christine Vachon, Todd Haynes. Like, we go way back. Producer. I just at the end of the day didn't feel like this was the right move for my career. I'm sorry I let it go this far. Sorry to your investors. Here's everybody's money. Pay the crew. Goodbye. Done.
Well, to your point, like back in the early 90s, Kim Basinger had a situation with this with Boxing Helene. I remember this. This was a big deal. Because I think they went forward. I think it was Sherilyn Fenn who ended up taking her spot with Julian Sands, the late Julian Sands. But like she quit the movie and there was a whole big deal. She got sued. Initially she lost and was going to pay 8.92, but then She appealed it. It was overturned, and then they settled for 3.8. So you might be right, Jeff. This is like, pennies on the dollar. They'll settle on it. Everybody gets paid. Todd Haynes gets paid for his time. Christine Vachon gets paid for her time, and people move on. I don't think this is going to affect him that strongly, but I mean, this is part of who he is. Like, what you're doing when you book this guy, because apparently he's got a history of this. Apparently,
how many actors have done this? Do you have any? You ever seen Don's Plum?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, I saw Don's Plum. It's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire that can't be seen anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right? How could they? These days they make movies and throw them in the fucking trash. Yeah. So you don't have a movie until it's released in theaters.
Good point. We see that with the Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, like we've seen way worse situations, okay, than this. Yeah. This movie was not made. Nope. Just like 1,000 other movies. It got real close, just like 1,000 other movies.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was 2 or 3 days before. It was, they took
5 days before they started shooting.
Yeah.
Did you hear
then they took a month to try to find someone,
okay.
and they couldn't do it.
Right.
And what does that tell you? Right?
A tough part.
Hey, I'm director Todd Haynes. Okay. Yeah. Here's a part that Joaquin Phoenix himself wrote for himself.
Right.
This is a Go movie with Danny Ramirez. Shooting in Mexico in a couple weeks. Can we get a big star who can, get this movie financed? Anybody want to come make out with Danny for a couple weeks? No? Nobody? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck do you want? If it was this great, undeniable movie, someone would have stepped in and made out with Danny Ramirez for a few weeks.
Danny's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking guy, Danny. Come on. It's a fair point.
We're with the lead in a Todd Haynes movie. Couldn't get anybody else. I wonder why. Doesn't anybody ask these questions? Or it's just Joaquin Phoenix is a fucking asshole?
That's what it seemed to be. A lot of these articles were insinuating.
And while Joaquin came up with the story for the script, did Joaquin write the script himself?
I don't think so.
Maybe he got this final script 5 days before and was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, yeah, maybe. That's very possible. You're thinking like a journalist, like a reporter now, Joe.
It's just, and these are the questions that I would ask if I was at a trade. They don't even have reporters who bother to think like this and ask these kinds of fucking questions. Now, I'm not going to get these questions answered from where I sit, but if I had a real, mega platform with millions of followers, you can bet I'd get some fucking answers to these questions.
That's a good point. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, he has a history of doing this, which kind of surprised me. I didn't know about this. Him bringing in Paul Thomas Anderson to do rewrites on Napoleon. I had no idea about that.
That was interesting, and backs up what we'd heard about PTA coming in to rewrite that other script.
Didn't help.
Huh?
Didn't help. Napoleon was not good.
All
right. Anything more to say?
Okay, but it's like, okay, if he has a history of doing this, shouldn't Todd Haynes?
Right. You're like, okay, I know what I'm getting.
Right. Is this really a surprise? I mean, Christine Vachon called it a nightmare on Facebook, but she wasn't like, fuck Joaquin. Like, if they have to sue to get their money, they will. But I don't think that it will come to that, because I do think Joaquin knows he fucked up here and he'll pay the price.
Do you think he
doesn't need the money?
Do you think he did that before he left? Do you think he talked to his lawyers and everything? It's like, okay, what's it going to cost me?
How am I going to what's it going to cost me to get out of this? Absolutely. You don't just walk off. You're absolutely right, John. You definitely call the lawyer and say, what is this going to cost me?
I want to go. I don't want to do this anymore. How much money do I have? What do I got to pay him? Yeah.
Who knows if it's just, dude, there's so many fucking things. No one thinks about this shit. What if Rooney Mara is like, you know what? I don't feel good. Come home.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor. I got a bad test.
Right.
Something's going on. Come home. We have a kid now. The baby had a bad test.
Right.
It's just fucking wild the way people think.
Yeah, I agree. This is a nice suggestion. Jamal Bayless says, Jeff, get paid top dollar to teach journalism. That's not a bad idea, Jeff.
You know what? I'd love to do it. Have somebody reach out, because I reach out to these programs, right? And it's like, who are you? Like,
who are you?
You went to NYU, but you didn't go to the journalism program. You never went to journalism school, but you want to teach journalism. Yeah. I mean, yes, I do it in real life.
Meanwhile, they let Blake Lively teach acting for a whole.
He can't even teach like a fucking UCLA extension course and shit. It's fucking. You know, go ahead, be taught by fucking mediocre talents.
Get someone who's constantly taking pictures of themselves with the talent rather than actually asking them questions. All right, let's move on to another story. Yeah, exactly. Oh God, yeah. Don't call yourself a journalist if you're constantly taking selfies. You're not. All right, let's move on to this story. I think it's fascinating, Jeff. Maybe a little more of a fun story to talk about. Dominik Sessa here, fresh off his success for the Holdovers, is attached to star as late chef Anthony Bourdain, who sadly took his own life, in the biopic Tony from Oscar-nominated productions company Star Thrower Entertainment. Deadline hears from their sources that A24 is in negotiations to acquire this package, with Tim and Trevor White of Star Thrower and Matt Miller producing alongside with director Matt Johnson. Lou Howe and Todd Bartles will pen the script. Emily Rose will executive produce. Do you like this as a next first step for Dominik Sessa?
Yeah, I do. I think it's that was pretty great when I heard it. I was really disappointed. I mean, I was technically the first person to put it out there, but I was very disappointed with how this all went down. I'm happy to tell you guys the story. But I think it's great. I mean, Matt Johnson did such a great job with Black Bear. He directed the fuck out of that movie.
I know.
So, I'm down for whatever ride he wants to do. And he makes movies about outsiders. And I feel like that's how Bourdain probably thought of himself.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. If you read his No Reservations book, I mean, it's all clearly that he, like you just said, like with the journalism thing, everybody saw him as a kind of barbarian at the gate. Like nobody wanted to let him in. He had to fight to get his way in there. Everyone was like, well, what school did you go to? And he was not a highfalutin chef. He was very clear about what he wanted, but he was naturally skilled.
Not once in my entire career has anyone asked what school I've gone to. And I wish, because it's like that. I thought it was my golden ticket. Hey, NYU doesn't get me shit.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I do like the Dominik Sessa casting. He's an exciting young up and coming talent. I mean, obviously he kind of has the look. Maybe it's just the hair, that did it. But the idea of him teaming with the guy like Matt Johnson, I think it could be really exciting. I think this is the kind of project that A24 should be doing. Bourdain, because Bourdain was a global celebrity.
Yes, he was.
Right, his death affected a lot of people, even people like me. I didn't fucking really care about Anthony Bourdain until he died. And then I read up on him and his life and his pain, and like now and then I was interested. But you're right. So it is kind of crazy, I guess, how in death, only in death are we appreciated.
Don't get any ideas, but yes, it's absolutely
no.
Yeah, I like this idea too, because look, he's young still, so clearly we're going to be watching him playing Bourdain on the come up when Bourdain gets known, when Bourdain comes into this success, right? But his journey getting to that point is going to be fascinating to watch. And we saw flashes of the kind of anger and strength that Dominik Sessa has as an actor in the Holdovers in certain moments. So knowing that Bourdain had that element within his personality as well, I think will be real fascinating to explore. Plus the the drug use and what have you. So all of that, this is a rich role to play for a young actor for sure.
Jamal, you email me, buddy. Okay. Next time there's an alumni mixer, I never go to these NYU things because I don't like to go alone. So Jamal, if you want to go with me, man, hit me up.
Very good.
So what happened with that though? It's like I get the tip in the morning or whatever that the Sessa and Bourdain and A24 and everything. Call my insider at the studio and they're like, hey. It's true, but like, there's also something sensitive. Like, we're trying to close the deal with Tony's estate. Like, can we just, wait a few days? Like, no problem.
Yeah.
And so I'm prepared to wait, like a good journalist. Just like, as it turned out, Justin was as well. So I called the agency, right, to cover my ass because it's like, oh shit. Well, what happens if in the next few days Justin calls CAA and, then they confirm it and he just goes. And so I lose it. So I call CAA to cover my ass. And in doing so, at this point I have it confirmed. So I'm not asking them, hey, is this true? I'm saying, hey, I know this is true, but I just want to let you know I'm sitting tight for a few days. And if you can, protect me on it, I'd appreciate it. No, they did the exact opposite, right? So as it turns out, Kroll had called on it months ago. And so, CA felt it was like, only fair to call Deadline and everything and let them know. And it's like, I understand that, Okay, but
Right.
that's when I was at the trade. Like that's how the fairness rules were written. When everybody was at a trade and everybody was getting a salary and everybody was getting health insurance, and it didn't matter if one of us lost a story. But things, I don't feel are fair in general. Life is not fair, and so reporting can no longer be fair.
Yeah.
And it's like the CIA. Obviously, the trades, they should be on these stories before I am. But if they're going to hold, and then I'm going to call, it's just like, why am I going to call if you're just going to call the trades, right? I'll just stop calling, because and that's fine. We can do it that way. I don't care if I'm wrong about stuff anymore. Like, I'm not, because I'm not expected to be right 100% of the time, apparently.
I think
nobody cares.
You're holding on too much to these relationships. If you want an opinion from outside the
100%.
thing, yeah, because you and I are different in that way. Like, you get worried for me, but I don't think you understand. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care.
I'm at that point now.
Yeah, because the story you told us last week off the record, honestly, if you weren't a good friend, I'd have fucking said something. But because you're such a great friend, I don't want to betray your trust.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, I want to be able to tell you what's really going on behind the scenes of certain things,
which I appreciate. Honestly,
things that the reporters can't share. But it's not like CA buys fucking ads.
Exactly.
They may control one in every 3 deals for everything in the world.
Yeah, not
just actors and movie stars, but makeup and fucking they represent all the major brands in the world. But like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, if you have not, they did not give me. I just remember sitting down with CA 8 or 9 months ago when I launched this thing, and they're like, just let us know how we can be helpful. I'm like, I appreciate that. Yeah. Really, we go back a long ways. Has this agency given me fucking anything? No. Not a single fucking story, not a tip, not a, hey, this is what's going on with WME, nothing. And it's like, okay, if that's the way you want to do it, that's fine. You can pretend like I don't exist. But then when I start dropping stories and you're like, hey, what the fuck? Don't fucking come crying to me. I'm just so fucking over it. And I don't care about the relationship anymore, because the relationship puts no money in my pocket. You know who puts money in my pocket? My fucking readers. Yeah. Okay, so if I have to fucking torch this entire town to get more readers to pay my bills, that's what I'm gonna fucking do. Because they're the boss now, not CAA.
I love this idea. I champion this idea. I 100% support this idea, because these people clearly played you. And we're like, oh, just let us know. They played on their relationships. You know this town, as you said. You're too kind to the fucking town.
I really am.
The town is full,
and I develop a reputation. I'm the asshole too, and I get mad at CAA when they're just like, we had to fuck you. It was your turn to get fucked. It's like, nah, that's not going to work for me anymore. Especially, like, I don't have a fucking notepad full of 50 things. So when I get something, I expect to eat what I kill, and if I'm not going to be eating what I kill, like, it's going to be a problem for a whole lot of people in this fucking town.
Right.
Go.
I'm going to give you a line from The Godfather when he tells the Undertaker, when he tells the Undertaker, when he comes to him, he goes, if you had come to me when all of this happened, then I could have taken care of you. Your enemies will become my enemies, and then they would fear you. And that's the thing. You've got to make them fear you, because the town only respects strength.
Exactly. I'm still asking for permission, and it's like, I'm just going to start taking.
Yes.
Because people are like they're looking out for me, whether it's the Russo brothers directing the Avengers, or Robert Downey Jr. coming back, or this shit, or a whole bunch of things. And when I go to check it out, if this is what's going to happen, people lie, deny, fucking say deadline called 5 months ago, then I'm just not going to fucking check, and I'll just become a gossip reporter. Because you know what? Gossip sells. Look at Dumois. She's got a book. She's got a fucking podcast. She's got all these deals. Yeah. If you want me to come to the next Dumois and stop being a reporter, let's fucking dance. It's just really wild, this town. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 100% on board with this. Maybe this is what takes us to the next level, or takes you to the next level. I'm not trying to attach myself to you. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's very possible. But I'm a big fan of this.
Or I'm just a huge fucking baby who lost the scoop. Could be that. Could be that too.
This has been building for a while for you, and I think
it's been the last few. It really has been like some big ones that I'm like, this is not just movie Hollywood news. This is global fucking news.
Yeah.
Like, I even went to Let's Make a Deal the other day, and I told people, I'm an entertainment reporter. They're like, oh, did you know like Robert Downey Jr. is coming back? I was like, Yeah, that was me. You.
I agree with you.
And there's just no make goods either. It's like you're CAA. You do every other fucking deal in this town. You can't say, Jeff, we know that we're fucking you on this one, but you know what? Here's another story that's going to be the headline on your newsletter tonight.
Right.
There's not even that because they don't want to give me anything because they need everything for every client to be on deadline. It's fucking wild, and it's going to stop, and I'm going to fucking put an end to it.
I love it. You've said this before and not followed through. So I hope you follow through because I want you to follow through. But, you know, I also keep my cards.
Well, it's because, you know, reporters get things from agents typically, right? The agents have all the information and that kind of shit. But it's like, if they're not going to give me information, they're not going to buy ads. I'll be loyal to the studios, you know?
Right. Fair point. Fair point. Okay. So anything more to say on this, Jeff, or shall we move on?
We can move on.
All right. All right. I mean, I'm happy to say more if you want to say more. I'm just throwing it out there if you. But I support this 100%. And, you know, I am not you, but every once in a while I get something. And I hear what you're saying with the whole thing of like being afraid that you're wrong or not. I had the Matthew Perry stuff a year ago through through contacts about them looking at those people. And I knew all about it, and I didn't want to post it. And now it's officially they arrested all those people. But I had that the day after he died. The day after he died, I had two people reach out to me and tell me what happened around that area, and everything they told me has come to pass.
You've got ketamine sources in the ketamine community.
I don't know if they're ketamine sources, but they're sources in LA. You know, and if people remember, so
from Rocha's party days.
Yeah, well, you know, people think I just sit around. I've still got tentacles in that town. I'm nowhere near Jeff or anybody else like that. I'm not trying to pretend to be, but we all have sources. We all have friends, and people talk. God damn it, people talk to Comic-Con like crazy. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Actually, you know what? Let's move on to this article then, Jeff, and then we'll get to the trailers afterwards. How long have you got today? What's your
dude? I'm all yours, baby.
Okay. All right. So I want to make sure. Let's talk about the Sasha Stone article. Talk about people pushing the other. Actually, you know what? Let's leave that for after the break. Let's talk about trailers here. Substance trailer came out. Woman of the Hour trailer came out. The Kraven trailer came out. And then if you want to talk about the Aaron Hernandez trailer that came out for American Sports Story, which I thought was fantastic. Substance trailer, the Margaret Qualley, Demi Moore film. I can't remember the director's name, but this is getting phenomenal reviews out of the festivals. What'd you think of the trailer? Did you like it? Are you excited for this film?
Which one are we talking about?
Substance.
I saw the Substance Tuesday. The trailer was fucking great. I saw it this morning.
You saw the movie or the trailer?
I saw the movie Tuesday night.
Holy shit.
There's a review. I just posted the review with Alien. So,
well, I'm doing a show right now. I couldn't read it. So
I know the newsletter that I published at 4:00 when we went live.
Yes,
was a trio of reviews that all involve body horror movies to some extent.
Ooh.
So it was Alien, Romulus, The Substance, and A Different Man, which you don't have to consider body horror.
What's that?
But I did.
Okay,
that's the Sebastian Stan movie.
Oh, yes. The one with the guy in the face. Yes. Yes.
Not a traditional body horror movie, but I believe that you could make a case for it.
Kind of a twist on. Yeah.
The Substance. I mean, I want you to read this review, John.
Okay.
But it's better hearing it from me. The Substance is insane. It is pure cinema.
Oh.
Okay? It is Aronofsky. It is Scorsese. It is Kubrick. It is Carpenter.
Wow.
It is all those things. I love nothing more than being right. And this proves that for the last 7 years, I have been very right. Now, that said, while this may be for 2 hours, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh. You use
the last 20 minutes of this movie. The last 20 minutes of this movie are fucking batshit crazy.
Okay.
They'll be extremely divisive.
Okay.
I wish I sat there with a smile on my face, appreciating what she was going for, but I wish she had ended the movie 20 minutes earlier.
Okay.
For the movie's sake.
Okay.
It takes it into a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I think this would be a potential Oscar thing. And thanks to those 20 minutes at the end, it is not, I don't think.
Okay.
It is the best Demi has probably ever been.
Wow. That's a strong statement.
It is the greatest fetishization of a single ass in cinema history with
Is
Margaret
that Margaret
Qualley.
Qualley? Or is that Demi Moore's ass? Or a stunt ass?
Margaret Qualley's ass.
Okay.
It is just it's remarkable. And I'll tell you what the movie reminds me of.
Yeah.
The movie reminds me of Requiem.
Oh, shit. Requiem for a Dream.
That's what we're talking about. Like, we're not talking about... This is not some critic being like, Alien Romulus is phenomenal. This is the announcement of a landmark voice in this medium.
Coralie Fargeet.
Fargeet.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fargeet. Sorry, Fargeet. Yes. Okay. This is her second feature film.
Yes.
She did an episode of Sandman. She did some shorts, and she did a film, Revenge, in 2017, which looks pretty awesome. So the fact that she's delivering, because IndieWire called it a masterpiece in the trailer, I think that's some strong comments to get from someone like you. You don't throw the masterpiece word around easily. So the fact
it's not a masterpiece. It's not a masterpiece because
you said masterpiece.
I said the first 2 hours.
Yeah, first 2.
The movie's 140 minutes.
It is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yes.
The last 20 minutes prevent it from being a masterpiece.
Ah, okay. Fair point. Okay. All right. I'm even more curious now to see it. Now
it's Refn. It's
okay. But the best of Refn.
Dude, this movie's gonna blow minds.
Now I kind of want to watch. It's not coming out for another month. Damn it.
I can't believe
I gotta move back I'm not gonna move back to LA, but I'd like to move closer so I can go see these films because I do.
It was packed. I could not bring I was not allowed to bring a guest.
No, I got invited to it. I get emails all the time inviting me to LA screenings, but I can't go to them, especially for these smaller films, But now listen, you see the movie. If they wanted to come out and Margaret Qualley was like, let's do flowers and florals and wouldn't you be pissed? Come on.
I wouldn't be pissed. I mean, if I went to the
it's a cute romantic comedy instead of what it's actually about. And that's my point from earlier. Anyway.
I don't think that the marketing could have been that crazy on It Ends With Us. But
fair enough. All right. So what about the Kraven trailer? Did you see it? Does it mean anything? It was just such a waste for me. What did you think?
It looks violent.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, I think it was crazy violent. I think it looks good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think Kraven's going to be good.
My son, I want you to be part of the business.
Although I still think Theo James should be Bond. He is not Bond.
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
I don't see it.
Yeah. I kind of don't see it either.
I don't see it.
I was watching Layer Cake today for about an hour, and I was like, that's James Bond. Even then you could tell. He's got this kind of control. I don't know if I see that with Aaron.
Do women want to fuck him?
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they?
Yes. Quite a lot of women that I've spoken to over the years have had things
I
for
don't
him.
see that furor online. When I tweet about a guy like Brandon Sklenar, women think that guy's hot.
Okay.
When I tweet about the other guy, I don't get that feeling. I mean, that's why his wife's 20 years older than him. I don't know. I think he doesn't have the. I don't think he has the bond.
I'm just telling you, all these women are trying to get saying that.
Fair enough, everybody. Fair. All the women want to fuck Aaron Taylor Johnson, but would you rather fuck him or Theo James? That's the question.
Although Karen says no, not for me. Karen, she says no.
He looks like my old roommate.
Maybe that's your issue.
I think it is too. He Aaron Taylor Johnson in The Wall looks just like my old roommate.
Oh, that's hilarious. Wow. All right, so we'll see what happens with Kraven. What about Woman of the Hour? I thought this was a really good trailer for an Anna Kendrick, her debut feature, I think, as a director. And I didn't even know this story. Dude, I went into Wormhole on this story. I had no fucking idea about this guy. And now I kind of want to watch every documentary about this guy and how he was able to escape for so long as a serial killer. What were your thoughts on this?
I know. I just shut off about Coralie and how amazing she is. I'm gonna do it again.
Oh yeah, have you seen this one too?
I saw it at Toronto last year. It was a top 5 movie of the year for me.
Wow.
Woman of the Hour is incredible.
Oh.
It's in fact, it's more perfect than The Substance is. Okay, The Substance falls at the end. I will say. In that last 20 minutes, but Woman of the Hour is a near perfect film.
It's only 95 minutes.
First time out, almost a perfect strike.
Wow.
There is real tension and suspense in this movie. The guy playing Rodney Alcala, the dating game killer.
Yeah.
His fucking name is escaping me right now.
Jedediah. Oh no, wait, hold on. No, Daniel Zavato.
Yeah, Zavato. He's amazing. Like one of the best performances of last year. I thought he was incredible in this movie. I thought Kendrick did a really, really nice job directing this.
He was in Lady Bird. Oh, he played one of the guys in Lady Bird, but he did.
He's in It Follows, I think. He's like the good-looking guy. He gained a bunch of weight.
He's in Don't Breathe as well. Yeah, he's in It Follows.
Yeah.
He was in Station 11, that series that was on Max, and then Penny Dreadful, the new
right. Station 11, right. He put on weight for this.
Wow.
And he looks like, I mean, who did he remind you of in the trailer? Let me ask you before I say it.
That's tough to say. No, you can say it. I'm not going to take offense. Go ahead.
A young D'Onofrio.
Ooh, I could see that. Yeah.
Like if we were casting like young Kingpin in something, and maybe they already have young Kingpin in the MCU. I don't know, but
I don't know either.
Like I'd cast that kid in a second.
Oh yeah. Tony Hale looked unrecognizable too in the thing.
He was good. Even Pete Holmes has he's like a little. It's like casting's a little weird with Pete Holmes, but he was fine.
Pete Holmes is in this. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm really curious on this one. I was just like, oh, okay. Anna Kendrick's directed a film. It's going to be a fun little rom-com. And then it's like, oh, shit.
Trailer's good. I'm curious whether this trailer is the trailer that Netflix goes with, because this trailer, that's the thing, is not the Netflix trailer.
Oh, this is more like
This is a Canadian trailer from VBS Films.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what Netflix's marketing department does with it, and if it's any different. And I think that you're going to see this. End of September was what I was always led to believe, but I could also see them holding it to October. What does it say?
It says October 10th on IMDb. So I don't know.
Yeah, I could see it being, basically Netflix's genre programming. Like they'll take any thriller, they're going to release 4 or 5 horror movies or thrillers in the month of October.
If you guys are into serial killers and you haven't done the research on this guy, Rodney Alcala, it is jaw-dropping.
Yeah, it's gripping.
How insane how he was able to do what he did in multiple different cities and consistently put himself in a position. Like he was able to get a job at a camp with kids.
He was smart.
It's insane what this guy was able to do until they did catch him, and I think he put in prison for a long time, or I think he passed away in prison. But like, it is unsettling what he was able to do and how many bodies they think he actually killed over this time.
Spoof-a-Man, you're right. I think Michael Gandolfini, I think you're right, was cast as young Kingpin, which is good casting as well.
Yeah, he looks good in that. He looks good in that recent film. So Saturday Night, was he in Saturday? Is that him in Saturday Night, or am I thinking something else? Yeah, that's him. Oh no, that's Hoffman. Sorry, who's Michael? Michael's in something recently. I saw that I thought he looked good in.
Yeah.
All right. What about the Aaron Hernandez? Did you see that trailer?
I actually did not watch that trailer yet.
Oh, okay.
So forgive me. How did he look?
The guy looks good. The guy looks good as Aaron.
Really? Because he was obviously like small. He was not nearly the size of Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
But you said he sold it?
Sold it to me. And it's kind of crazy that Patrick Schwarzenegger is going to be playing Tim Tebow. Now I'm kind of interested to see where the fuck this is.
I can't wait to watch that. Like this fall, between that and I don't know if the Menendez brothers thing is coming out this fall or not, but that is also another true crime story.
So the guy who's playing Hernandez is Josh Rivera.
Yeah.
Also known as Mr. Rachel Zegler. They've been dating for a long time. And he was in West Side Story. He's Chino, the nerdy Chino in West Side Story. I did not know that this was the motherfucker playing Aaron Hernandez. Like that's how much of a transformation it was for me. Yes, he's not as big as Aaron. Aaron was massive. So, but they're making it work. And it looks like they got the right kind of idea of how to do this. So I kind of like that. All right. Well, let's take a break, Jeff, because we're at the hour mark. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into a couple other stories, and then get to our.
We're going 2 hours today, baby.
Yes, we are. Yeah. All right. We'll be right back right after this. All right. Let's get into this Sasha Stone situation here, Jeff. Of Awards Daily. The Hollywood Reporter did an article on her yesterday, basically detailing her journey from a liberal movie blogger who constructed this Awards Daily website, which got in right on the ground floor of commentating on the Oscars and predicting the Oscars right when things were happening for that kind of stuff in the early 2000s, I think. And blew it up to the point where she was making $200,000 to $300,000 a year off the website. But she tweeted out recently, and she's gone far right over the last year or two. She's gone far right with a lot of her comments and a lot of her posts, and then recently tweeted out white power in response to White Dudes for Harris, which was a thing that brought together a bunch of white men to get them to get on board with a black female running for president. She tweeted it out in a sarcastic way, but apparently it was that one straw too many on the camel's back that broke it. Advertisers have left her site. A number of freelance writers for her have left and built their own website that's going to be debuting soon. But the article talks about how she's at the end, it's like, is happy that they're all leaving because now she can really spill the tea. And she's going far right wing. So she's gotten these right wing people to follow her as she talks more positively about Trump and negatively about Hollywood. So it's a weird thing. And I've known about her doing this stuff for a couple of years now, how crazy she is. But I don't know. What do you think about this article, Jeff? What do you think about Sasha Stone?
Well, Sasha Stone is a friend.
Well, I'm going to give my opinion, even though she's your friend. So go ahead.
That's fine. You don't have to agree with or like everything your friends say. And in fact, your friends are very different can be very different online than they are in person. I have at various points blocked Sasha Stone, muted Sasha Stone, unfollowed Sasha Stone, because I don't want to see what Sasha Stone is tweeting on Twitter, because it's fucking a lot of toxic garbage, right?
Yes.
That said,
yeah,
I will defend, as I've said before on the show, anyone's right to say anything.
Sure.
I don't understand why Oscar advertisers would flee because of her political opinions, okay, which still appeal to half the country, regardless of whatever she's saying. It appeals to half the country, right? Even
I
if
wouldn't say half. That's a right wing talking point that half the country is MAGA. They're not. Half the country's
they're Republican. Okay, fair, whatever.
Yeah, half the country might be Republican, but not half the country's MAGA.
Okay, fair.
I say that as someone who pays attention to stuff more.
The point is, she's not alone. Okay, and for her opinion on a movie to now be deemed worthless, right? Because she has these opinions, I think is just very dangerous. I think, obviously, I've been fired for sarcastic tweets that advertisers probably had issues with.
Yeah.
And I just think it's garbage. I also don't think that those writers left because of that tweet or anything. I think that they were probably planning on leaving for a while and doing their own thing. I do think that her politics probably alienated them to some extent. And I don't like necessarily what Sasha has become, but at the end of the day, she is still a voice in the film community whose opinions I respect.
Okay. So she's not a friend of mine. So I, just have my own experience with her troublesome tweets over the last couple of years. I agree with you. People might find this odd. I'm much more aggressive on social media than I am in person. Because I just like to kind of keep to myself in person. But so I can understand that. But I mean, when you play with fire, you can't cry afterwards. And I think that's what bothered me a lot with the article is that.
Did you think she was crying?
Oh, I thought she was willfully misrepresenting herself as a victim of the situation, which is ridiculous. Like, you're a fucking critic. If people aren't going to like your Green Book points of views, guess what? That's what happens with a critic. People have issues with you. If you can't handle finger pointing, don't be a critic. If you can't handle people calling you out, don't be a fucking critic.
I don't think she was crying about that. I think you're misinterpreting it.
No. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. In my opinion,
I'm saying you misinterpreted what she was saying.
I disagree with you. I am very clear about what I was reading when I was hearing this, right? And it isn't like white power was the first thing she's tweeted out a lot of kind of racist, misogynistic, homophobic stuff I've seen from her. And I don't give a lot of credit to these freelance writers who all of a sudden create a website like, oh, this is when the money's leaving. Now we'll go create a website. There's no morality or principles in that. There's none, in my opinion. You should have left way before the money left. Now that you've left because the money is leaving and she's going full MAGA or Trump or whatever, then, that I don't put much stock in what you're doing. I don't disagree with you, though.
What does it matter whether she went full MAGA? Like, I think the problem which they alluded to.
Let me finish my point. But I don't think she should be shamed out of the community. I think she's got a right to speak her voice, but she's also got to accept that people have a right to call her out for her voice as well. That's the way it works, don't you think?
Sure, but calling someone out is different from an article in the Hollywood Reporter. This was not newsworthy. Okay. I don't find it newsworthy or worthy of this kind of.
Okay. Huh? You don't think someone running one of the most famous websites about Oscar blogging and Oscar predictions was someone making $200,000 to $300,000 on the website? Like, that's a big deal, Jeff. You don't think that?
I just don't understand what her salary has to do with what she is or isn't allowed to say. Or again, it's all about, to me, it's about an intention. If she's tweeting white power because it's power to all the white people and screw all the people of color, that's a problem. Do you think that she really meant it like that? Does
no,
really
but I think she took a right-wing talking point that I heard on Fox News and Newsmax and because I pay attention to this stuff way more than you do, Jeff. And
I am very aware.
Yeah, I'm just saying she mischaracterized what White Dudes for Harris was about. It was not about segregating out by race. It was trying to get it clear that there are white people who are behind Kamala Harris because the prevailing feeling was amongst a lot of people that if Kamala Harris became the nominee, that white women and white men would not vote for her. So that's what the whole point of that was. But she misrepresented it as if she was saying Democrats approve segregating by race, which is not what it was to be at all. But that's my point, is there's willful misrepresentation that she is buying hook, line, and sinker and repeating out on a massive platform that she has. And
so you're saying that when you have when you have a platform that's that big, you have a responsibility to align with my politics.
No, I'm saying, again, I've told you, I have no problem. I am no way saying she shouldn't be able to do what she does. I'm saying she's got every right to do what she does. Stop crying when people get upset about it. That's not how it works. You get to say what you want.
Of course. And so maybe Sasha should have known that this is how people in the Academy think.
Yes.
And this is how advertisers, feel.
Yes.
And that she probably shouldn't have done that. And I mean, what resonated with me is when the other writers said, well, that she was doing it from the Awards Daily account, right? It's one thing if you have your own personal account, but if you're using, the site's account to do it, then it kind of like puts a stain on the rest of the work that's being promoted by that account.
That was the confusing part of it that I saw over the last few months. Is like, wait, which is Sasha, which is Awards Daily, Yeah.
And Brandon Joseph is like, okay, you're right. Like you may have to choose between doing the MAGA hustle, right? The MAGA grift, and doing the Academy grift, which is that, and that's what it is. It's no different.
Right.
It is no different.
Right.
It's just the other side, and you can't play both sides. You can't say MAGA, 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 and then turn around and say, Hollywood, give me your money.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm getting at. And that's what I thought the article a little bit was like, and she's.
So it's just about a hypocrisy, but it's not like, it's not a crime to be hypocrite.
No.
It doesn't seem like Sasha's suffering. If she was suffering financially, it seemed like she'd probably stop what she was doing and fall back in line.
No, but she might see that she's going to make more money. I mean, we've seen how
make more money, right? Pandering to the, but what's
Pandering
the
to the right.
life of that, right, John? The Oscars are going to outlive Trump.
Oh, I think this political cycle is going to outlive Trump. And I think once the MAGA voices die down, you're going to see all these YouTubers who had this convergence to MAGA. Consequently, when all these people are willing to go and buy into their grift and give them money, are going to all of a sudden come back to the middle and be like, no, I never said that, or no, that's not, you misunderstood me, and all this nonsense so they can keep making their money. And so we're going to see that.
Days are numbered. This guy's going to be around in our lives for like 2.5 months. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win.
I think he's going to drop out. That's what
I thought he was never going to run in the first place. He doesn't want to be president. He just likes to win shit.
No,
if you told him you're up to the fucking head of the condominium association, he would campaign.
100. This is a fantasy league for him, and he wants to win the fantasy league, even though he was terrible at running the fantasy league when he was the commissioner. He wants to still run it again because he feels like he's not getting respected enough.
That's what I'm saying.
If the GOP was smart, they dump him right now and go to Nikki Haley. That is a tougher matchup for Kamala.
Kenya, how can you imply I tweeted sarcastic? It's a written statement, can be interpreted. Well, then why was it interpreted in that one way? If it can interpret in so many ways, why is it interpreted as this is super serious? She's being deathly serious. Like I think they were just looking for an excuse, don't you think, Jeff? Like what you're saying? Yes, everybody was out to get her, of course. And everybody was mad. Well, why is this crazy MAGA person making more money than I am in the award space? I mean, that's how I feel with reporting.
But she's appearing on things like she's appeared on Megyn Kelly's show. Megyn Kelly just insinuated, basically stated last week that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. Another woman who has traded on her looks.
I don't understand this. So if you're a guest on Bill Maher, you're now accountable for every opinion Bill Maher's ever spouted in his 20-year career?
I guess not in that way. No, but I mean, it's not like she's tried to be
on a show hosted by Megyn Kelly, who once said this.
If I go on Sean Hannity's show, I am taking on the Sean Hannity garbage. If I go on to Mars, who's been known as
you are, I mean, listen, I know I'm not down the rabbit hole at all, which maybe is a problem. I need to be more aware, but you're like way too down the rabbit hole, dude.
I'm not way too down the rabbit hole if I can hear you say that and not go crazy about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just know a lot about this stuff, and I've always had an interest in this since I was a kid. So, it's more a matter of being knowledgeable about this stuff. But I have a very strong point of view on my side of things. But I think when I read the article, Sasha is regurgitating right-wing talking points that I can easily poke holes in, no problem. And it's just kind of frustrating.
There is no question that like what has happened in the last 6-8 years or whatever, like that happened. She's not making this up. Her and Jeff Wells are not making this up. This shift that society has taken, and I'm telling you, society is shifting right back.
Yeah, there's a backlash now to the back.
Yeah, because people like Sasha and Jeff Wells and myself, not with MAGA and Trump or whatever. I don't think Jeff Wells is a Trumper either, but we were all correct that the pendulum just swung completely over here, and it shouldn't be over there.
Yeah, but now it's pushing back against the MAGA and the right-wing point of view. Yes. These anti-woke Disney people are losing subscribers. Trump is losing momentum. MAGA is losing momentum.
That's not, those things are stupid. Anti-Disney. Why would you be anti-Disney? Why would anybody be anti-Disney?
Because they can make money off of it and grift people. So, and it's the same thing here, though. Like, she was getting right-wingers to pay attention to her stuff, and she was playing both sides, the studios and the right-wingers. Well, she finally made one comment too many, and the studios are like, fuck this, we're not going to give you money anymore. Which, I mean, there's a hypocrisy in all of it, right?
Why is this an article that is relevant?
That's a fair thing. That's a different conversation, and I can totally understand that. But I'm sure for Sasha's ego, it's a cool thing that it's an article in the Hollywood Reporter. So.
I don't think she wanted. I don't think this is the kind of press that she wanted.
I don't know. You know her. You could speak to that better than I
don't think the article. I didn't think of it as like a hit piece by Rebecca Keegan. I was just like, if I was her editor, like, why do I give a shit? Like,
maybe it's a slow news. It's been a slow news week. You know that. I just didn't understand.
Damn sure.
I just didn't understand her throwing in the stuff about her taking naked pictures of herself on Flickr.
Right.
That was unnecessary. I felt like that
have to do with anything.
Yeah, you kind of slut shaming her.
That she's a free spirit. That
Yeah.
you know, like yes, Sasha doesn't think like everybody else.
Yeah.
She has her own mind. I mean, fuck, dude. Like, we need more individuals like Sasha, even if we don't agree with them.
I agree with you.
And when people say, "Oh, she's dangerous," right?
She's dangerous. Somebody says she's dangerous.
Oh,
an Oscar blogger is dangerous.
There was a quote in the article about how Sasha and her way of thinking, her tweets is dangerous. You know, walking on a frozen pond is dangerous, but you're not in danger till you fall through. Like, I don't understand.
The executive said, a quote from Sasha Stone is toxic now.
It's toxic. This is not a word that was in anyone's vocabulary 10 years ago. Toxic. Anyone who uses the word toxic, I'm just like, yes, like, so you're watching a movie now. For the last 15 years, you've been going to the movies and you see Awards Daily's quote on all these prestige movies. And now you see it and you think, Awards Daily, isn't that the woman who tweeted white power and loves Donald Trump? I'm not going to go to this movie. She liked it. If she liked it, then Donald Trump probably liked it. And I don't want to see anything that Donald Trump likes. Like, are moviegoers this stupid? Who is buying tickets based on their fucking critical quotes from people no one's heard of?
What are you talking about? People? Oh, no one's heard of. Okay, I was going to say, because people have been buying tickets based on movies.
Based on Roger Ebert and Roger Ebert alone. No other fucking critic is moving the needle. No one knows who Awards Daily is. If it said Sasha Stone Awards Daily, then I get it. If it just says Awards Daily, oh no, we can't have that.
To be fair, I never pay attention to her points of views on movies, so it never affected me. But maybe, I mean, I hear your point. How many people actually know Awards Daily? That's a fair point. But clearly enough for her to be making $200,000 to $300,000 off. This whole
you posted something we don't like, and now how you're going to pay for it is we're going to pull all the advertising, and that tweet that said white power is now the equivalent of a $200,000 to $300,000 fine that has been levied against you. You can no longer pay for your child's college. You can't pay any bills, all because you tweeted 2 words on twitter.com.
Hey, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences. And everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And
the punishment should fit the crime.
If you're above 18 years old, you fucking know that and can't complain about it.
The punishment should fit the crime.
Yeah, it's fair. But that's a punishment is always relative to the person.
Studios always overreact like everything.
Yeah, possibly. All right, let's move on from that.
White power was used as a joke. Read this one. We're on the topic.
Which one? Oh, Derek, what's up, Derek? Always good to see you. Jeff, tell me a time when white power was used as a joke or misinterpreted. If MAGA was a normal political movement, nobody would care. It's a racist, misogynistic, bigoted political party, and nobody's tolerating it anymore. Don't forget homophobic. And yes, I agree with you. But Jeff, your thoughts on this?
White power has never been used as a joke or it's never been joked before.
I don't know.
In the history of jokes, no one has ever used the words white power to a comedic effect.
I think didn't Chappelle use white power in that redneck sketch where he's blind and doesn't know he's black? I think he did say white power. I think he did. So it was used as a joke. So, but like, you're saying from
easy, Derek. Do I think Sasha's leading the Klan meetings? I don't, buddy. I think you can sleep safely at night.
They would not let her lead the Klan meetings for sure.
Jesus Christ.
All right, real quick, man. The Alien Romulus review. Do we just want to wait for you? Do you want me to just give me mine and they can go see yours?
No, no. Let's fucking get into it, dude, because you're dead wrong.
First of all, it's an opinion. I can't be wrong. Second of all, I loved the movie, enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it had a really great connection to the original Alien movie, kind of captured that energy. Not even aliens captured the energy of the original Alien movie. And I thought this one finally did. I've been waiting for one like this. Very similar to Prey in the Predator franchise. And I think Fede Alvarez, who I love as a director, is another fantastic voice in the sci-fi/horror community. So I love this. I thought Kaylee Spinney was great. I thought David Johnson was the star of the movie as Andy. He was great. Are there too many nostalgia plays? Yes. Are there a couple of times in the final 20 minutes of the movie where like, wait, how did they do this? Yes, but it wasn't enough to take away my love of the film. So I 100% recommend this movie. And it's got 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. But go ahead, Jeff.
97% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what that means to me?
What does that mean to you?
Jack fucking shit.
Okay.
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 What does it have on Metacritic? Should we go take a look?
A+.
Yeah. Let's go take a look right now.
Oh, it's 82% now on Rotten Tomatoes with 82% audience score. So that's good.
Metacritic.com. I thought this movie
64.
was very 64. Now that sounds accurate to me.
64 is what, based on 43 critic reviews, Metacritic, 64 is what it's on right
43 reviews? Like, you mean like because there's really only 43 like legitimate critics and not 700 critics that Rotten Tomatoes has that are from basements around the world?
Yeah.
Yes. That is the difference between Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes.
Go ahead.
So this movie was frustrating. David Johnson is the standout, like you said.
Yeah.
He was very good.
I want him in everything. Jesus.
He took the ball from Fassbender and ran with it.
For sure.
Did Kaylee Spaney do it for you?
I think she did. I liked her as the lead because she's not a usual type of lead. And the way they present her in the movie for what she has to do is very similar to Ripley. People forget Ripley wasn't the lead in the movie until halfway through the movie. You know, and I think there were similarities here because you would argue the leader of the group of people who are trying to go to this outpost, he should have been the lead of the movie, but she becomes the lead as the film goes along. So I thought Fetty was honoring the original Alien and going in that direction, but I liked her in the role. You didn't like her in the role?
I thought she was fine. I thought she was underwritten and that her relationship with Andy was kind of underwritten as well.
That's a fair point that she's underwritten because I would have liked her in more of the movie. That's a fair point.
The movie took too long to get going. It took about 35 minutes. I think that in this day and age, you got to come in strong after about 20 to 25. The second act was really good. I liked the blood sequence.
Oh my God, dude.
But it just, he left something on the table. There wasn't enough suspense to it. She wasn't threatened enough during that sequence.
She wasn't trying to be.
Huh?
You're saying she wasn't in danger enough?
Yeah, like I've seen him handle suspense better. He kind of rushed through the sequence, but that conceptually, even though the execution I didn't think was like perfect, conceptually it was brilliant. And when this movie does do its own thing, it's smart and it's clever, but it relies too much on the things that worked well in the past. It's too beholden to the past. You know, the line at the end, which I'm not going to spoil what line is repeated, but like butchered line. And why does he even say it? It makes no sense. It's an empty fan service callback. And to me, there was just too much of this. I think that once again, this movie likely suffered from Ridley Scott being over Fetty's shoulder. I just feel his fingerprints all over that third act, which I did not get on board with. I mean, whether you like, and I like the movie overall, but you only love the movie if you got on board with that third act. I think it's preposterous to go on board with that third act. I think it's a fucking mess. Okay.
Yeah, I bought the third act, but I did, as I said, I did have a couple of moments going like, wait, what? How did they? Okay, but because the movie was so good leading up to it, I was like, all right, I'll accept it. I'll move on from it, But I totally respect your criticism of it. But you did say you liked it, so
I liked it overall.
I'm saying go see the movie.
I like all the movies in the franchise. I really don't dislike any of them. Even when I was like, Resurrection is clearly the worst one. I think. Yeah, I don't dislike Resurrection.
Is that the fourth one?
Yeah.
Oh no, I liked Resurrection. I thought Gena did an interesting take on the thing. Is, that's a European version of an alien movie. And I think that's why American audiences fucking hate it.
But what's the worst one to you?
The last one, Covenant. I thought Alien Covenant was horrific. Prometheus is interesting because of the concepts, but there's a lot of logical missteps for characters. You're like, what the fuck?
And that brings in new ideas to Prometheus.
Yeah, that Idris Elba accent was ridiculous. And so, like, there's just elements of Prometheus that didn't work for me. But overall, I think it's a watchable film. Covenant is trash.
Fede to do his own thing here, and I don't think that he did. So yeah, I thought it was okay, but ultimately, didn't live up to its potential. I thought it was going to be like a staggeringly great movie, and those last 15 minutes, it reminded me of Sunshine, which I did not care for at the end of that movie.
The Danny Boyle one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, did you see Ridley on the red carpet when they asked him about how he contributed to the movie? He said that he gave his notes to Fetty, and that Fetty kicked the chair, punched the wall, and then came back and implemented them on the. So I hear when you said like you could see Ridley Scott's fingers all over that third act. Yeah. I wonder if that was part of it.
So he got my notes when I told him what to do. He was really upset. He didn't want to do it, but he did it because I'm Ridley Scott and I gave him this movie.
Nobody says no to me, motherfucker.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. One last thing we should talk. Oh, anything more you want to say about the movie? Or I thought I thought Benjamin Wolfish's score was really good.
The score was good, yeah. I just I got to tell you, I'm looking forward more to Noah Hawley's Alien Earth series.
If that happens, we'll see. One last thing. Sadly, oh shit, I should have made a photo for this. Gena Rowlands passed away this week. Renowned actress. For those of you who know her from the John Cassavetes films, from Gloria, from so many of these great films from the 70s and 80s, and then became a really in-demand character actress into the 90s, Hope Floats, and of course, The Notebook. But certainly an actress who leaves an incredible legacy. 4-time Emmy winner, 2-time Golden Globe winner, 2-time Academy Award nominated actress. And I saw Carrie Coon, which I retweeted, tweet out going, "We've lost a wonderful actress and an incredible light in our community, but we also lost our dignity in that all of these tributes to her are leading with The Notebook." So I thought that was funny. But yeah, your thoughts on Gena Rowlands here, man?
Yeah, a towering figure. Obviously, a woman under the influence is a remarkable performance. I like her in like schlocky stuff. Like one of the first things that came to mind was actually her turn as the mother in Taking Lives. Ethan Hawke's mom, the Angelina Jolie serial killer movie.
Right.
Yeah. So it's I just thought of her in like little movies here and there, The Notebook, things like that.
Skeleton Key.
But she lived a hell of a life, and had a beautiful family.
Yeah, I mean, the films to recommend, if any of you are film fans and you want something to challenge yourself, as Jeff said, A Woman Under the Influence, Opening Night, Gloria, the original Gloria, which I think Kathleen Turner did or was it Sharon Stone who did the remake of that? But the original Gloria is fucking excellent. You guys should watch that. So really, if you want to learn and see why she was such a name in Hollywood for so long, watch those movies for sure. All right.
Let's go back to Derek's follow-up comment here.
Okay.
And you don't have to keep spending $20, though we appreciate it, Derek. Derek says, as a black man, nope, not funny to me.
Okay.
Last I checked, Jeff, she's not a comedian. And the disregard you have for how those words hit the black community is astounding. If she had used a Jewish hateful word, what would you say then? Well, she didn't use a black hateful word. She didn't use the N-word.
Well, right? She used the phrase white power, which implies KKK. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I saw when Derek White would score points in the NBA Finals, I saw people go white power. At summer camp, we have blue versus white. And I remember counselors going, oh, what if I name my team White Power? No one actually named their team that, but it was a joke, right? It wasn't like, oh, my God, you're a horrible racist piece of shit. I think people have different senses of humor. I wouldn't expect you to laugh as a black man, Derek Johnson. I wouldn't think that you would find it funny, but last I checked, comedians are not the only people who are allowed to make jokes. I've heard this before, and that is why this comment sort of touched me off a little. Well, you're not a comedian. You don't get to joke about things if you're not a comedian. We all are able to joke about things. I don't think that Sasha meant that. Like, let me ask you, like, Derek, you don't have to pay for it. Just hop in the comment section. Do you think that she was serious? Do you think that Sasha Stone hates black people? I'm asking you. The disregard that you have for how those words hit the black community is astounding. I'm not disregarding it. I'm sure it's very real. And had she used a Jewish hateful word, what would you say then? I mean, one of you who's probably watching this show right now got drunk the other night, went on a little bender, and then hit my Instagram DMs with a whole bunch of Jewish stuff. That person isn't blocked. They're not blocked because I could tell they're drunk. They're not really serious about some of the stuff that they're saying. I didn't really feel the hate behind it. If you feel the hate behind her, Derek, by all means, stop following her, block her, tell everyone you know to pull their advertising money out. But like, this is really just a phrase that people frown upon and is not cool to use, that she used in a sarcastic manner, and now she's lost $200,000 to $300,000, and she's not an NBA player who makes millions of dollars. So I just don't understand the fairness.
Well, I mean, I can push back on a couple of your points. Your Boston Celtics fans are almost predominantly white and come from a historically racist city. So the idea of them using white power without even thinking about the implication of it is not shocking. These are the same fans who just gave James Durant a standing ovation, who used a derogatory word for F-word for homosexual and was welcomed back with open arms. And his sales, if
the Celtics fan tweets white power after Derek White hits a 3-pointer, you think that is racist? That what?
It may not be.
It's thoughtless. A thoughtless tweet that could be interpreted. Why doesn't the black community interpret it as, oh, it's a Celtics fan thinking of Derek White, white power?
Because why does the black community have to do all the work, and why not the white person who is tweeting it? Like, enough already. Black community does a lot of the work already.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
You're right. We should not tweet white power anytime Derek White scores. Go on. What's next?
I agree. They shouldn't. Derek Johnson says he does love the show as always, guys. So,
But Derek, I want to know, do you think that Sasha is hateful?
He said, I just told you how that word affects a certain community, and you disregarded it again. Go to Mississippi Museum, where videos of little black girls died as these words were being uttered, just because it's not the N word.
Well, give me the list of words. I mean, what are the words that are now off limit? I just
this is not
this is not something that I would tweet, Derek, and I didn't advise that Sasha would do it, but you can't just say, oh, she tweeted it. What did she mean by it? What is the intention behind the words? And do you think that she...
Why does
No one answers the question. No one answers the question.
I'm trying to answer the question, and I'm trying to tell you, why do people have to do the work for the thoughtless person who tweets it out?
Because it's on the person who's interpreting it. It's not it's like I talked about this in therapy a couple weeks ago. It's not about what I say. It's how you're interpreting what I say.
Okay.
I have my own meanings, and I know what that meaning is.
Sure.
Just like Sasha knows what she meant when she tweeted it, but no one will believe her. So right, because they want to believe their own narrative and their own interpretation. Forget what she meant. It's about what I interpreted it as.
Right, but why does she get the benefit of the doubt when there are two years of tweets?
Why doesn't she?
That point to the fact that she has adopted a certain mentality. Why should she get the benefit? This isn't a court where you're not allowed to bring in a past case of the person's behavior. This is real life. And in real life,
are there black people in the MAGA community, John?
Yes, there are. Tim Scott.
Then why is white power equivalent to the MAGA community? I don't understand.
No, I don't understand. It's a racist term. That's all Derek is saying. It's a racist term, and she shouldn't have used it. That's all Derek is saying.
But you're trying, you're drawing a connection between, you just brought in her other tweets, and so that's why we should look at this tweet through that lens. But I'm saying that tweet wasn't through that
her
lens.
Other
it was
racist
a sarcastic tweet,
or like her other racist tweets, how she defended 3 billboards.
I'm going to ask one more time. I want a yes or no question from you, and I want a yes or no question from Derek. I want a yes or no question from you. Okay. Do you think? Answer. Sorry, not question. Do you think that Sasha Stone hates black people? Yes or no?
First of all, you can't tell me how to answer. So I'll say to you this, and I'm not saying that in any way that's defensive or angry. I'm saying to you, I don't know her, so I can't give you a yes or no answer. That's the only way I can qualify the answer. Okay. I have never met her, but I will say this. I've never thought she was racist when I've seen her stuff, but I've always thought she said racist shit. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
But I've never met her, so I can't gauge if she's a racist or not. You know?
Okay.
And just because you have black people in your movement and you have people of color in your movement doesn't mean your movement isn't racist. This is make it.
No one's trying to defend the MAGA movement here.
You were bringing it up by saying, "Aren't there black people in the MAGA movement?" And that's what I was trying.
And there are.
Yes, there are, and Latinos, and immigrants, no less.
That's right, because MAGA is more than just white power, isn't it?
No, it is very much white power, and these people of color have fooled themselves into thinking that the master is going to let them in the house.
He isn't far down the rabbit hole.
Right. Look, you brought it up. All right. Anyway, let's get out.
Trying to explain what was maybe going through Sasha's head.
You're trying to defend her. There's a difference. You're trying to defend.
Trying to defend free speech, and I'll always defend free speech, which is never free. Which is never free.
She's got a right to say her things, and Derek has a right to receive it and respond with his free speech.
All I asked of Derek was whether he thought she hated black people. That's all.
I don't know if did he answer? I didn't see the answer. Oh, Derek is just because black people are MAGA don't mean shit. I agree. There were black people who brought slaves back during slavery. Not all skin folk or kinfolk. That's how Jay Washington says it all the time.
Of course.
All right. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you, Derek. Very kind of you to send money in, brother, man.
People want to move on because it's not an interesting story, which is why the Hollywood reporter shouldn't have fucking written about it in the first place.
There you go. You got your props. Miguel Zion says, regarding Lantern's casting, how about Miles Teller or Josh Hartnett for Hal Jordan? Is Miles a bit young based on the casting age rumor? Do y'all think Hartnett can play Hal well? Damon Idris for John. Yeah, I said Damon Idris last week as someone they're looking at possibly, and I like that idea. But what do you think, Jeff? We've spoken about this a number of times. Do you still think Hartnett's the guy, even after Trap, or even more so after Trap?
No, he seems too old.
Okay.
I don't really know what the qualities of Hal Jordan are supposed to be, since my only interpretation is the Ryan Reynolds version.
He's an arrogant pilot who becomes humbled by becoming Green Lantern, but still maintains his arrogant point of view.
Could be good for Miles. Yeah, I mean, Miles would fit that, and I think he'd be maybe a coup for the series. He's a great actor, and he may be at the point of his career where this kind of series makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Hartnett strikes me as just a little bit too old. Damson Idris, I think, would be a get, possibly, with him on the precipice with F1 and everything, but
yeah. And he's young.
So then they're the same age, right?
No, I mean, it's supposed to be Hal older and Jon Stewart younger, kind of a mentor-mentee type thing. And Hartnett is in his almost 50, isn't he? Isn't he almost 50?
Yeah, but he may be too old. Like, maybe you want a guy in your 40s rather than Miles is in his 30s, right?
He's 46.
Hartnett's only 46?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Damson is 32. So there's enough of an age gap where it would be generational.
Damson's a little bit older than I thought he was. He was in his 20s.
27. Yeah. Black don't crack, bro. You know that.
I do know that.
Shall we move on? Miguel Zion says, read DCU Batman casting. Thoughts on Jamie Dornan as Batman? Do you all think he has the chops? And I saw that Glenn Powell has followed James Gunn, Andy Muschietti, Rachel, David, Nicholas Holt. Oh, Rachel Brosnan. Sorry, David Corn Sweat, Nicholas Holt on IG. Thoughts on him being Batman? Can he pull it off? I think he's more a Booster Gold. I don't think he's a Batman. I don't see him as a Bruce Wayne. That boy's a country boy. Nothing about him radiates snobbery.
Well, it seems like Kumail is Booster Gold, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, he was in that photo that they posted. It was like,
said.
Are they even? Yeah, are they even fucking trying? Like, they're even trying to hide this at this point? Like, it's the whole cast of Superman and one other guy. Seems odd.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think Glenn Powell for Bruce Wayne Batman? It doesn't make sense to me. Jamie Dornan I can see, because Dornan radiates that kind of natural, strong, good-looking, chiseled charisma that a Bruce Wayne would deliver and a Batman could deliver. If you're not Robert Pattinson, who's clearly doing a more goth Batman. But
here's what I think. I think we need to stop jumping to conclusions based on who actors follow on social media. Okay, Glenn Powell follows me.
Hey.
Okay? Oh yeah,
nice. Is it because he was one of your up and comers?
Yes. Glenn and I go way back. Glenn follows me. You know what? He's not starring in the Jeff Sneider biopic. I hate to tell you. I tried to get him. I tried to cast him. He wasn't right for the part. Glenn follows me. You follow somebody on Instagram doesn't mean you're working with them. It drives me fucking insane. You got fucking is this would be like the modern Batman, right? Oh, he's the world's greatest detective, sits on Instagram fucking solving crimes all day. The fuck? You're not a great detective by figuring out who somebody's following. You haven't solved it. If this guy's gonna be Batman, you think he's gonna fucking blow it by following James Gunn. What the fuck are people thinking?
You
It's
know,
like no one's been cast in a movie before.
Just because I follow Jeff doesn't mean he can play me in a movie. Max Sloth says Snyder's thoughts on TIFF's 2024 film lineup.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Are
we back, baby? Is 2025? Are we back, baby, in 2025?
In 2025, yeah. I mean, we'll see what this year's crop, brings. It's a hell of a lineup. The interesting question for me is like what I thought Joker 2 was going to be a part of it. And I also thought Joker 2 was going to be a part of the New York Film Festival lineup. Now you're hearing, Rumi is really fanning the flames with the whole, well, the New York Film Festival is really close with Christine Vachon. And so they have Christine Vachon's back and they're going to pull Joker 2 from the festival. I'm just like, I don't buy this for a fucking second.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was ever going to play TIFF. That seemed like maybe it was like a made up image that had a whole like Joker 2 fall festival schedule. But I don't think festivals pulled this movie because of what Joaquin Phoenix did on the set of a movie that, some indie movie that never got made. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
How tough is it to get into these movies at TIFF, man? Is it tough? I've never done the festival thing. It must be tough.
I mean, you get 10 tickets.
You can only see 10 movies?
No. You get 10 public screening tickets.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to plug in. Fuck.
Oh,
you get 10 public screening tickets, and then there's P&Is. So that's the press and industry screenings, right?
Oh, okay. Now,
you can still if you're a big critic or whatever, you just have to ask the studios for tickets, and they always have them.
Right.
I'm at the point where it's like, we'll see, Jeff. We may have a ticket for you, we may not. We got to play it by ear. Usually it means that they don't. But you have to stay on top of these people and annoy them nonstop.
Okay.
So you just go and you request the top 10 movies that you want to see, and then the rest are P&Is, and maybe you get 3 or 4 other tickets from studios later in the festival when things die down.
Okay. Carlton Runner says London calling back from Barcelona today. Nice. Hope you had a good time. So I've been out of the movie bubble for a week. It's good to be back. Have a great show, guys. Sending support.
Thanks, Carlton.
Thank you, Carlton. Max Sloth says, can Snyder give his thoughts on The Substance? He did. So hope you watched that earlier. Lights, Camera, Super Action says, JC Chandor wrote and directed cerebral dramas like Margin Call and A Most Violent Year. How is he a good fit for Kraven? He is not even writing it. Hey, man. You make the jump to the big studios, and if you want to make the jump, you got to play in their sandbox. You got to play by their rules, Jeff.
I mean, what was his last movie, JC Chandor?
6 Underground, I think, wasn't it?
No.
It wasn't? What was it?
Michael Bay did that.
Oh, yeah, Michael Bay did that one. My bad.
I forget what JC Chandor's most recent movie was. Oh, it's Triple Frontier.
That's what I was thinking. I knew there was a number in it.
It was Triple Frontier, which was, okay, but also a little expensive. And yeah, if he wanted to make the leap to, studio filmmaking and big budget filmmaking, he was going to have to take a movie that nobody really wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, Margin Call, All Is Lost, which I thought was a great Robert Redford film. A Most Violent Year, enjoyed that. Triple Frontier, I have not seen. So, isn't that
not Triple Frontier?
I have not seen it. Is it good?
It's okay.
That's why I haven't seen it.
Great cast, but you've probably seen Treasure of the Sierra Madre. So
yes, is that what it is based on?
Yeah,
okay.
It's basically the same thing.
We don't need no stinking badges. Samo says, did you all see the new American Sports Story trailer? Also, did you all watch the Clipper Show clip about Doc Rivers and Donald Sterling? I did not watch clip, Jeff, because so many of my friends watched who were basketball people, and they texted me and were like, do not watch this. It's a fucking joke. So I didn't watch it.
Excuse me. I watched half of it. I do want to finish. I watched it when I was back in Boston, and then I just got back here and got too busy and haven't been keeping up. But I want to finish. I actually liked it.
Is it worth watching?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting story and everything, and I like Doc Rivers and.
My friends were telling me that everyone's horribly miscast as the characters they're playing. They look nothing like the characters they're playing.
I mean, yeah, it's not great. It's definitely not great. But it's hard to cast basketball players. There's not a lot of fucking 7 feet guys who can act.
Winning Time did it just fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Winning Time had HBO money.
Yeah, it's true. Goopy G says, will directors be weary to work with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, knowing your project may be taken from you? Much love to the hot mic. Hey, that's a fair question, but most people are not going to be afraid of that, Jeff, because they can see the money potential down the road, don't you think?
No, I do think that some directors maybe a word could spread among the directing community where it's like, I mean, I'll show you the text. Like it said, do not work with Blake.
One of my sources said that she had problems on Rhythm. What was it? The Syndicate? What is it? The Rhythm Syndicate, whatever it was. And apparently Barbara Broccoli had to sit her down and be like, that's enough. And then he also told me, the source did, that Ryan Reynolds had issues with Netflix or with Michael Bay, and then Netflix sided with Ryan over Michael Bay for 6 Underground. So
I don't always side with the fucking talent, dude. It's always the movie stars who are front and center.
Drama. Lemmy Ward says Warner Brothers. Wow, thank you, Lemmy. I don't know what currency that is, but it's pretty
Australian.
Awesome.
It's $5, Lemmy.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry.
No, I don't know the conversion. Thank you, Lemmy.
Warner Brothers looks like it is in trouble with their financial results. If you were CEO of Warner Brothers, what would you do to fix it? Look, Zaslav is
myself.
Is he? Jeff, go ahead. What would you do?
I said I'd fire myself. What would I do to fix this? I have no idea.
Look, he's doing it.
I mean, invest in Max. Like that's one thing I would do because you can't just pay for Max and have this service that puts nothing out.
Yeah.
They don't. They are just a place to go to watch HBO shows.
It's true.
Where's the original programming?
Yeah. Maybe it's coming down. Oh, we got Penguin, right? Isn't that coming? The Dune show's coming.
No, they moved. I thought they moved Dune under the HBO, didn't they?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Max, you mean like do the original program on Max? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Okay.
They don't put any money into the service because
I haven't accepted them as separate entities yet. So fair point.
I think they need to merge. That's what you have to do, and that's what he's pretty clearly doing.
Yeah, that's why he's cutting the fat as much as possible. And look, they're in trouble, but he has cut down the debt by like 20 million. So it's pretty good. Goopy G says, can indie reporters survive if CA only goes to the trades? Of course.
Because I have done everything I've done the last 9 months without their help.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need them to break a story. And they don't seem to realize that. So
yeah, people don't seem to understand that, like, where you're at. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the connections you make.
And no one wants to help. And I get it. It's not on CA. Like CA doesn't have to give a shit about how much money I'm making or not making.
Yeah.
Right. But this idea of fairness, it just drives me nuts because it's like, this is not a level playing field that I am playing on.
Yeah. People have a weird idea of stuff. Goopy G says, I've been watching a lot of 70s to 90s classics lately, and something I noticed is most new movies look like shit. Do the new DPs even try to light sets anymore? Jesus. I don't know. Maybe we have a different desire for what we want to see in our movies now, so they light to fit what they think people want. What do you think, Joe?
I think that this person's right. I think that movies looked better in the 90s than they do today. They just look artificial today, and things are too dark.
Unless you're dealing with like a cinematographer from that time who's still working, right? They know how to light shit.
I mean, listen, I think that Roy Price wrote an interesting newsletter today. He's the former Amazon executive, and he's written about the last 6-8 years of film of like the JV team's been on the field.
Jesus. Probably all around. With the actors as well. Brett Cohen says, lads, favorite Australian movie that's not Mad Max or Baz Luhrmann. I saw one years ago with an early Russell Crowe and an early Hugo Weaving called Proof. I think it's called Proof, where Hugo is blind and Russell is in falling in love with someone that Hugo has an interest in. And so it was an interesting exploration of that, which I thought was a really good Australian movie. Also, Once Were Warriors, but I think that's a New Zealand movie. So what about Whale Rider is New Zealand. What about you, Jeff? What do you got for Australian films?
I mean, I always like this. No, I like this movie, The Mule. You ever heard of The Mule? Not the Clint Eastwood one?
No, what's that one?
It's wild. It's also with Hugo Weaving, I believe. It's about a drug mule, right, who gets caught at the airport with drugs,
Oh,
right?
shit.
And they have a week. They can hold him for a week, right? And he has to not take a shit for a week.
Whoa, really?
It's wild. He has to hold his shit in for a week because if he shits, that balloon's coming out and he's going to jail.
Oh my god.
It's great. But the my more traditional answer would be Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh yeah, a great classic Australian film for sure.
Yeah.
What
about
about
Nazi Legend?
Isn't Heavenly Creatures an Aussie film as well? I think it is an Aussie film.
Yeah, that might be New Zealand as well, but I forget.
What's Peter Jackson's Australian, right? Or is he New Zealand? I forget. Because I mean, his
New Zealand is where he filmed everything.
Oh, okay. Karen von der Maiden says for Kamala Harris. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. Lord Baratheon says, do you guys think Kraven will flop? I really can't. I have no idea. I really have no idea how Kraven's going to do. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it'll do well.
Okay.
I mean, there's no DC movie coming, right?
No.
There's no Marvel movie coming, right?
Not anymore.
And there's no Star Wars movie coming, right? And no Avatar movie coming, right? And no Fast and Furious and no fucking Jurassic. So I think it's actually going to do pretty well.
There's a Lord of the Rings movie coming. But it's
animated.
Easy. Jeff! Derek Johnson says, if John went on avowed anti-Semitic host Nick Fuentes' show, he'd be accountable for all the things Nick's brand represents. Jeff, yeah, that's true. And that's just why I wouldn't go on his show. Or if I went on a show, it would be very clearly to combat him.
I don't care what John does in his free time. John, if you want to go on the Nick Fuentes show, be my guest, buddy.
No,
I could give two fucks.
No thanks. Ewok says, you can't go on other people's show because they're going to sandbag you, or they're going to, like, if they can control whether I stay on the show or not, I don't like to go on the show. Ewok says the TIFF People's Choice Award winner almost always gets nominated for the Oscar. What do you think could win this year? I'm thinking Saturday Night. Jeff, do you think Saturday Night has a chance to win this?
I think it looks really good. I think Conclave is going to be really good.
Ooh, Conclave. Okay.
And I
just saw the trailer for that. It looks.
I think Honora's there too. Honora could also win the audience award potentially.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff at TIFF though this year. Like it's hard to keep track.
It's a wealth of riches.
Yeah, it's a good lineup.
Oh, Somersault's another good Australian film with that.
Nick Fuentes. I've never heard of this person. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who any of these people are. I get into these arguments on social media. They're like, well, what about this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy? I'm like, dude, you are down the rabbit hole. I don't know who any of these people are. I know who Tucker Carlson is, and that's about it.
Ooh, that's about as far as you need to go. Gallipoli is a great choice. And yes, Eric Bana and Choppa.
And Bronson, too.
Yeah, Bronson.
Tom
Hardy, right, exactly. Is that Australian, though? I think that's a British film. Or is it Australian? I don't know. Here's it. Babadook, Talk to Me, Lion, Witness. All right, these are good suggestions. Muriel's Wedding. All right, good. Just wanted to hit some of these.
He's English. Yeah, I thought Bronson, you know what? Maybe I was just thinking Chopper.
Yeah. They're kind of similar. Wiley, what's up, Wiley? Says Kaylee Spaney is by far my favorite actor next to Cruz, Affleck, and Lawrence. She's amazing in Romulus. That Don't Breathe escape moment is incredible. Please give me more. You guys are the best. Oh, thank you, Wiley. I appreciate that.
Kaylee Spaney is your favorite actor next to Tom Cruise
and
Jennifer Lawrence?
Well, Wiley's young. Wiley doesn't have the experience we do watching all those films.
She's in Don't Breathe? No, that's just a Alvarez thing.
Yeah, so the ending was very similar to Don't Breathe. That's what he said.
I gotcha.
Let's see. We had the Derek Johnson stuff, so let's skip past that since we already read it. 34 Virgo. So are you sure that Marvel isn't trying to get Ali to quit Blade, or he isn't being difficult? The scripts that were submitted, about the scripts that were submitted, I guess he's trying to say. I mean, do you think we're going to see him? I feel like we're moving farther away from the possibility of a Mahershala Ali Blade and moving closer to a Wesley Snipes Blade movie. Am I wrong on this, Jeff? Am I wrong on this?
No. It does kind of feel that way. Kind of feels like everyone's over Mahershala's Blade, and they're just like, okay, if you don't want to give us this movie, fuck it. Can you give us Wesley Snipes?
Well, yeah, everyone's talking about how great Wesley was in Deadpool Wolverine, and that's kind of clips.
Don't know. I mean, listen, Mahershala is coming off of Leave the World Behind, which was a huge movie.
Yeah, sure.
But he hasn't become
No, he hasn't.
a movie star the way that maybe people thought he might 7 years ago when this was first announced.
I agree, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're looking to have it back necessarily. But you can't discount the reaction to Wesley Snipes' return as Blade.
It's funny you say that because we're switching over to Streamlabs real quick because we still have some super chats, but I want to hit these Streamlabs. Philly 19057 says, "Did you guys see the Bo DeMeo tweet about his idea for a Logan-style Blade movie starring Wesley Snipes?" So yeah, I mean, it seems like I don't know how much cachet Bo DeMeo has, but in this situation, but certainly after writing a really great first season of X-Men 97, there's possibilities here.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to, does the public love Mahershala? Or would they rather have Wesley Snipes? And at this point, with that little reminder, right? So the last taste in your mouth is not Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
May have, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're doing anything. I don't think they're shifting gears, but they may want to. I think
you have to now. Because I don't think I think people are excited. You want to take advantage of it now. All right, let's see. Tipster 1222 says, "Who is the mystery co-writer on Borderlands? Joe Crombie is a pseudonym, but Craig Mazin swears it's not him. It's probably Eli Roth's other hand." Jeff, what do you think? Because that movie was.
I mean, I have a guess.
Okay. Don't say Quentin or Robert Rodriguez. Please.
No, I think it's Gary Ross. That's what I think.
Gary writes good movies. Oh, wow.
But he's like the guy that they bring in over at Lionsgate a lot. And if I'm not mistaken, he's mentioned in the article about writers who worked on Borderlands. Like his name is connected to it. I just wonder if he's the one who got the credit but just didn't want her name on it. Like he wanted the check that came with the residuals because he earned it or whatever. But yeah.
Maybe Gary saw the movie and was like, "Yeah, you can take my name off of this. I will be."
Who wrote it?
Craig Mazin started to write. Craig Mazin wrote it originally, and then Eli Roth apparently came in and rewrote it.
Put it this way: it wouldn't shock me, and not that this is true, and I don't have anything backing this up, but if Tim Miller came in, right, which he did.
Oh, wow!
Tim Miller came in to direct the movie, direct the reshoots. I wonder if he went to the Deadpool guys.
Reese and Wernick?
Yeah.
Wow.
It wouldn't shock me if it was them and they, Reese and Wernick just took a single, pseudonym.
Maybe they felt,
it could be a pseudonym for two people is what I'm saying.
Right.
And I only say that because Miller worked with Reese and Wernick on Deadpool, and you typically in this business work with people who, did right by you. So,
and they did shit. How come I can't remember the movie? Zombieland. So that kind of energy, that kind of vibe is what they kind of wanted to bring to Borderlands. So you may not be off base on that one, brother.
I still think it's Gary Ross, though.
Okay. Samo says, "Thoughts on Dennis Quaid saying that movie quality is dipped because of political correctness?" Shut the fuck up. He has a new movie as Ronald Reagan coming out this month and said that he is voting for Trump. Yeah, whatever. He was great in the Substance trailer. It looks fun in the Substance.
He's really good in the movie. I mean, that was supposed to be Ray Liotta's role.
Oh shit! I gotta say, I feel like Dennis brought a little more authenticity to that than Ray might have. Awesome.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a different performance from Liotta. Quaid, I mean, he's right. Obviously,
I disagree, but okay.
How could you disagree with what he says? How?
What? How can you possibly say that movie quality has dipped because of political correctness? Like I don't understand. There are so many movies that tackle uncomfortable subjects.
I'll put it this way: I don't know if it's fair to say that movie quality has dipped. The movie ordering has dipped. Okay, we don't make certain movies anymore because we are worried that they're going to offend people. They're going to offend the little snowflakes.
I agree. And I agree that, well, no, how can I say this? I don't agree what you're saying, but it certainly doesn't help your case when you do make a film about uncomfortable subject matter, like domestic violence, and your star wants to bring out her flowers to hide what the fucking project is about.
The movie was a hit. I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't have it both ways, man.
What?
But who cares if
it's 100% ruining movies. The fact that we've become more politically correct. We can't get how many movies could you point to, classics from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, that you can say, and you know you would be right, this would never get made today because of political correctness? Dozens of movies, hundreds of movies.
Yes, because we've changed. And guess what? Movies in the 60s and the 50s wouldn't have gotten made in the 80s because people have changed. You're not making Gone with the Wind in the 1980s, Jeff.
But people haven't changed. We like to think that they've changed, but really they haven't.
You don't think? Wait, are you saying society is still worse for?
I'm saying that scene at the fucking beginning of Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he goes into Harlem wearing a sandwich board sign, right? And writes what is on that sign. You'd never see that in a movie today. And why? Because you know what? It's a great scene. Why can't we have that scene in it again?
Okay.
It's political correctness.
Here's what I'll say. You could have that scene if it's a black director. And that's what's changed. And
that sucks that there's different creative licenses
yes,
for people of different colors. It wasn't like that.
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't, because it was all white people directing shit. What the fuck?
No, it wasn't, because you know what? I went to Let's Make a Deal yesterday, and there were two people dressed like motherfucking dead presidents. So let's not just forget.
Were they white presidents?
I just love this. Well, it's just white people who did everything. Well, so now we're just going to invalidate all the movies that black people made in the 90s?
No, I'm saying no, of course not. But don't act like the lane was free and clear for black people to make movies at the same level or amount as white people.
The point was back to Dennis Quaid. Are movies better or worse today? And they are worse because of political correctness. I don't know how you can argue with this.
I can, and I will till I'm blue in the face. Lucas Fisher says, been a big fan of you guys back in the golden schmodown days. I tuned into the pod a few weeks ago and haven't missed an episode since. Such a great level of information and entertainment. It has been such a blast. I mean, Jeff brings most of the information. I bring the entertainment. Well, we both bring the entertainment. Let's be real. But thank you, Lucas. Very kind of you. He also says, I'm probably one of 3 people that care, but has Jeff maybe heard anything about Paul W.S. Anderson's new movie, In the Lost Lands? A 2024 release is floating around, but there hasn't been anything concrete or even a trailer. Jeff, it's August. It's almost September. There's
3 people, bro. You're being generous. There's 2 people who care about that, and I am definitely not the other one. But I imagine, you see it at one. I mean, what did they just announce the lineup for Fantastic Fest or Fantasia or I don't know. I feel like you'd see it at one of those fucking festivals or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they've announced that to be there, but I can take a look while we're answering questions. John W. Ashford said, greetings. Any truth to the rumor that Sony is throwing their Marvel IP into theaters before they lose the rights? Yeah, some people have been writing articles this week, Jeff, about how Sony rather is trying to use up all these Spider-Man villains so the MCU can't use them in their movies. Do you think that's happening?
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
Well, because Sony has a deal with Marvel for the Spider-Man universe live action. And that's why Tom Holland can be in the MCU, because they made the deal. But everything else stays property of Sony Pictures. So apparently what people have been writing about this week is that Sony is trying to get these Spider-Man movies out there live action so they can essentially corner the market on these villains and keep them in the Sony Pictures universe of Spider-Man and not allow them to be used in the MCU version of Spider-Man. And that's what I think this person is asking. Do you think that they're doing that on purpose?
Still confused. The MCU version of Spider-Man? Are we talking about like the animated like Spider-Man freshman year?
Marvel. Like Disney, Marvel, MCU. Like Sony owns Spider-Man and the entire live action universe of Spider-Man, villains, characters.
The deal for Spider-Man, though, the deal's not for the Spider-Man universe.
No, it's for the Spider-Man universe. It's for all the characters in the Spider-Man universe live action. Sony owns all of that.
Yeah, I know that. So
yeah,
it licenses Spider-Man alone out to Marvel.
Yes, but
why would Sony feel like it has to use Calypso or any of these villains in Kraven the Hunter to keep them from being used by Marvel? And because Marvel doesn't have the rights to use Calypso and that kind of stuff.
Right, but maybe because Marvel may come to them with an idea for Calypso, with an idea for this, and get first dibs. You don't be able to negotiate the character out from under them, I guess, is what this person is trying to do.
It's only if Sony agrees to a deal.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think that they're trying to. Again, the idea is that they're rushing out re-releasing Spider-Man, rushing out Spider-Man movies, or
throwing their Marvel IP into theaters before they lose the rights. Because they have to.
When are they losing the rights? There's
a renegotiation coming up, and so they wonder if Disney's Marvel is just going to.
What should they do? Should they not be making the Marvel movies and letting the rights expire?
I don't know, brother. I don't.
Yes, that is what you do when you have the rights. You use them. You make the movies before they expire.
John W. Ashford says, greetings. Any truth? Oh, sorry. Wolvie says, hi, guys. DC's Lanterns is deep into casting between Bradley Cooper, James Marsden, Chris Pratt, and Joel Edgerton. Who do you think is most likely to be cast as Hal Jordan? I think we answered that already, Jeff.
What were the three?
4. Cooper, Bradley Cooper, James Marsden, Chris Pratt, Edgerton. I think none of those people are going to be cast as Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Pass. Radiohead Mike says, will Jeff be in person at TIFF? What does he love about Toronto? What does he hate? And what movies are you looking forward to seeing this year? Jeff, will you be there in person?
God, there's a lot of movies I'm looking forward to.
We're running long. Are you okay? Like
yes, I'm gonna be there in person. I love that it's easy to get weed. I love the ladies of Toronto. There's a lot of good looking ladies up in Toronto. I usually like the weather. And the only thing I don't like are all the tourists on King Street or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So many looky-loos. I can't even fucking get to my screenings. The fucking streets are packed with people just trying to gawk at celebrities.
I want to see stars. Alan Smith, he says, hey, John. Hey, Jeff. Looks like Nick Cage has casted John Madden. We talked about that in a new David O. Russell film. First question, what the flip? Second question, how is David O. Russell still directing movies in this town? Also, see you at the next Cabal meeting. Jeff, peace.
Cabal meeting.
Neither of you would get invited. Neither of you. I know you guys. They would not let you guys go. They would let you park the cars at the Cabal, but they would not let you into the Cabal.
Right, exactly.
David O. Russell is still directing. Oh, well, because I don't know, because I guess people still like working with him, and he has.
Because he's talented? Could that be it? Wait, it doesn't matter if you're an asshole? You know? Yeah. He's talented. He makes, he's made a lot of good movies. He's made people money. Amsterdam, it sucked. And it bombed, but there's still critics like Jordan Rumi who will defend it. So some people got what he was going for there. I did not. But that's just one movie, right? The others have been pretty good.
Yeah, it's a rarity when he has a misstep. Like I Heart Huckabees in that movie, Amsterdam. Those are the rarities.
I didn't love Huckabees either, but Silver Linings, American Hustle, Joy. Yeah, can't get too mad at the guy.
Nope, A Fighter, which I love.
Right, another great one.
Jeff is always right. Gentlemen, great job as always. I'd like to fan cast a possible Joker and Bond if possible. Ewan Mitchell as Joker for James Gunn's Batman and Tom Glenn Carney for Bond. I think both would do a great job coming off of what they did in House of the Dragon. Ewan Mitchell, I think he plays Aegon. I could see that, I guess. Could you see that? Oh no, Ewan Mitchell plays Aemon, sorry. I
don't know who he is.
Okay, it'd be an interesting Joker. Yeah, you don't watch House of the Dragon.
I've never even heard his name.
Okay, so this is Ewan Mitchell.
What role was he being fan cast as?
I think he'd be an interesting Joker. I think Ewan is gay, so a gay actor playing the Joker would be interesting to see what he would bring to it.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be playing the Joker in Gotham, the TV series.
Yikes. He's a good actor, man. You should watch House. He's great in that. And Tom Glenn Carney, who plays Aegon as Bond, too young. I could see him as like the Ben Whishaw character, like the new Q or something, but I don't think I could see him as Bond necessarily. Maybe not yet. Maybe in 5 years. Jeff, what do you think? No? Jeff's on Steam right now.
Yeah, that comment just makes me grateful to have my boy Jamie helping me with ideas.
There you go.
Like, Jesus Christ, no thanks.
Ronan Unchained. Hello, fellas. Jeff, your scoops in the Star Wars realm has been spot on. Damn. Wonder what you might find out or discover by the time next celebration occurs. Hope the Hotline makes a presence at next year's San Diego Comic-Con. John, keep up the good work with the channel. Thank you, Ronan. Trying my best.
Another thing, it's like shit. San Diego Comic-Con. Invite me down. I'll do a panel. But yeah, if you're asking me to like pitch it and do all that shit, I'm too lazy.
I might get us in for to do a panel on the hot mic, like to do a hot mic show.
Yeah,
panel.
You handle it all.
Yeah, I will. I'll handle it.
I'll show up
because I want to do a Geek Buddies and a hot mic there if I can talk them into it. Let's see.
Matt Smith looks like a ghoul.
Okay. What dirt does Raz Al Him, another David O. Russell. What dirt does self-admitted abuser and director of Amsterdam, the worst movie of the 2020s, David O. Russell, have on Hollywood? He's talented.
Been around since the mid-90s. Probably has a lot.
Yeah.
Probably has a fair amount.
Matt Sinister McCall says, per Beth Snyder, Clint Eastwood will be Batman. Yeah, I could see that. Batman Beyond.
I like this. This should be a recurring character.
It is.
Beth Snyder and their scoop of the week.
Beth Snyder's got great scoops. Derek Johnson, did you both see the Aaron Rodriguez show trailer premiere in FX? We talked about that, Derek. Thank you very much for asking us about it. Jeff has not seen it yet, but
I'm gonna watch it as soon as we get off.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get those screeners. Wayne Edwards says,
Derek, thank you for your generosity today. I know things got heated there as I tried to defend my friend Sasha Stone, and again, I don't know what was going through her head, but I know she's no racist.
There you go. Hey, the show is all about being able to fight, but be friends by the end. Wayne Edwards says, what the hell? Why am I not getting notifications for this show going live? I don't know, Wayne. Hit that bell button. I just happened to see you guys live. Crap. That's all right. You can go back and rewatch it.
4:00 next Thursday as well, right?
Yeah. It's usually what we do. 4:00 Thursdays. That's usually the time. I will let you know if we ever veer from that time.
Probably won't
put that in your calendar.
On the 30th. We'll probably have to.
Okay, so 2 weeks. Got it.
Or 29, whatever it is. But yeah.
Matt Sinister McCall also says, per Beth Snyder, a movie will be coming out about schizophrenic who hears Morgan Freeman's voice in his head and must kill Morgan Freeman to save his sanity.
I'm open to it.
I like that pitch.
Not terrible.
That's not a bad pitch. You must kill me now. Wayne Edwards says, I'm rewatching Meet Joe Black today. I saw it in my 30s with my wife at the time. We were both high and it didn't connect. Don't worry, I was sober and it didn't connect. Now in my 50s, as I have more days behind me than ahead of me, it hits harder. Have you seen it? All right. So, Jeff, I'll let you chime in this first. I'm just trying to get through these. Go ahead.
So we were both high.
Why do I read it if you're gonna have to read it after?
Joe Black. I saw Meet Joe Black once. I was not a big fan of it. It was way too long for me and just way too like maudlin. And yeah, I did not care for it. But maybe you're right. Maybe I owe it a second look.
Here's what I'll say. The stuff with Anthony Hopkins, I understand, Wayne, it does hit harder because you're older now. And so you get the journey that he sees less days left than the days he lived. And he's looking at death coming. I just think some of the ridiculous stuff with Brad Pitt talking Jamaican and Brad Pitt getting hit by those cars, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the score is overdone. The score kind of kills the movie at certain spots. So, but there's some good acting in that movie with Hopkins and Pitt for sure. And I always forget her name. The actress who played Claire Forlani. Julius Weiss.
Who directed that movie? Do you remember?
Like Joe Johnston, Gary Ross. Who was it? It was one of those guys. Who was it?
Martin Brest.
Martin Brest.
Yes.
Let's see what you're doing there. Julius Weiss says, John, you ready for the FSU Seminoles football this year? Hell yeah. We're going to be playing in Dublin. Our first game is in Dublin against Georgia Tech. By the way, I checked out the packages to go to Dublin to see the fucking game. $10,000 a person. No college football game is worth 10 grand. None.
Dude, I paid $17.50 to see Game 5 of the Celtics. So,
wait, not $17.50, $1,750.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Now
I paid back $350 so far.
You're getting there. Now and again, productions. Any more details on the J.J. Powell Ortega project? J.J. Abrams, I guess. I don't know who Powell. Oh, Glenn Powell Ortega project Intrigued by how Powell and Ortega would be paired as romantic leads, a romantic mentor-mentee.
Definitely not romantic. Definitely not. That's not going to happen. I don't see that. So
okay.
No, I don't see them being romantic leads together.
After the Martin Freeman situation, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the dynamic will ultimately look like, but I don't really have any other details other than I told you it was a fantasy thing that garnered that had Last Starfighter vibes.
Ooh, I like it. Simon Sections is originally on screen and said, "I hate everybody. They typed the N-word post-production on Die Hard with a Vengeance." Oh,
did they?
I did not know that shit.
Interesting. Like that scene is a fucking crazy scene.
It is because
you're like, when else have you actually been afraid for John McClane? He could be up against terrorists. You're like, oh, he's jumping from hell. He'll be fine. You're going to Harlem with that sign. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fuck around. Terrorists are one thing, but the black community, when they're mad,
saying,
like, one other thing.
Can we bring back fucking scenes like this?
Sure, in black movies. Brett Cohen says, let's get really divisive. Who's the most attractive panelist? Press 1 for John, press 2 for... No, I lose that every time. Jeff has a unique charm.
You've got hair, muscles. Look at you. You're so sexy.
I'm old. Nobody wants an old man.
I look old. You look young. You're old, but you look young, and I'm young, and I look old.
Fair enough. But Brett, how very kind. Yeah, see, everyone's going to say 2. Everyone's going to say 2 for Jeff.
Brett, we'll have a fucking threesome for you for a little bit more than Australian $5.
Who's the 3?
Throw a couple zeros on there and come on down to San Diego, baby.
Both of us.
Mrs. Outlaw's out of town.
No. Can the suspense this is Mike Maver. Can suspense films like Breakdown make a comeback? I've never seen Breakdown. A great Kurt Russell and Catherine.
Dude, you like that movie. That's a good movie. Yeah.
I stumbled upon it on Pluto TV, like the scene where he comes through the door to confront JT Walsh in front of his family. And I was like, oh, this is an intense little thing. How have I not seen this movie? So you might be right. Maybe
these days, though, with it wouldn't be a kidnapping conspiracy. There's actually a supernatural entity that's convincing people to do it. Like these days, movies just overcomplicate everything.
Fair enough. Oh, Karen giving us the friend zone. Both of you have great personalities.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Karen, friend zone does both. Respect, Karen. You do you. All right, that's everything, man. That's all the Streamlabs and Super Chats. There's nothing left. We went for 2 hours and a half today. Fuck, man.
Marathon men.
Woo! All right, there you go. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you all madly. I got to get some dinner. Jeff, let people know where they can subscribe to your newsletter and hang out with you, brother.
theinsnider.com. And yeah, we're going to be bringing FYC back soon, guys. So stay tuned for an announcement on that front. We're going to get Perry and Scott together again.
Is it getting close to that time already? Is it getting the films?
I mean, yeah, it's like 2 weeks till Toronto or 3 weeks or something. So
good point. All right, there you go.
Have a good weekend, Johnny.
Yeah, you too, brother, man. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Oh, one more thing. Griffin Schiller, who didn't pay for this, but because he's my friend, I'll ask his question. Jeff, ask Jeff if there's been any movement on Bond. It's been dormant for so long. There's got to be something. Jeff, anything?
No, I mean, again, if you read the newsletter, you will have seen that there you go. 2 years ago, Barbara Broccoli and Daniel Craig announced plans for an Othello movie. And a week or two ago, she formally launched a company called the Othello Film Company.
Wow.
According to British records or whatever. So I don't know that there's anything happening on Bond because it feels like she's ramping up this Daniel Craig passion project. He would be Othello.
Yeah.
It's still, I don't think she's in any rush. And I imagine Amazon is maybe getting a little frustrated about that too.
Wow. There you go. All right. There you go, Griffin. You got your answer. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you all madly. As I said, follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button so you see we're coming in live and hanging out with you every week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Leave your comments down below. Share this on your social media. And most of all, take care of yourselves and be well this weekend and go see a movie. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace.